ABC Sports presents College Football Today. From Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, it's Northwestern State against the Indians of Northeast Louisiana. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Natural Light Beer. Taste is why you'll switch to Natural Light. And by your Sears Tire and Auto Center, home of straight talk, good values, and satisfaction. Welcome to Monroe, Louisiana, and Malone Stadium on the campus of Northeast Louisiana. I'm Steve Zabriskie, welcoming you to what should be another exciting afternoon of NCAA football action right here on ABC. Today, Northeast against Northwestern State. Two Louisiana schools that know each other quite well, have played each other over the years, and have a tremendous rivalry going. A big game this afternoon, and it'll be my pleasure to call the play-by-play for you. Working as our expert commentator, the former head football coach at the Air Force Academy, Ben Martin. And Ben, in talking to the coaches and looking at the two teams, we really should have an offensive show for you this afternoon.
No doubt about it, Steve. Both coaches came up through the ranks as offensive coaches, and the players, they were both offensive players. They're going to put the ball up in the air a great deal, as Northwestern State throws the ball an average of 30 times per game, and they've averaged 285 yards passing per contest. On the other side, the Indians are going to throw the ball about 35 or 40 times today. John David Crow, their coach, told me. So we should see an aerial display today on both sides of the field.
As we mentioned, they know each other well. They have played every year since 1952. There's the series record, but the last 2 years really belie that. Northeast winning here 2 years ago big, and last year at Northwestern, Ben, a game that wasn't really decided until the final gun.
But on the very first play from the line of scrimmage, here goes Joe Delaney, the Demons tailback, number 44. He's a 9'3" world-class sprinter, and he uses his speed to go into the end zone. What a shocker as they go ahead 7-0 before 30 seconds are off the clock to start this ball game. And they scored again and again. And so after these two quick field goals by Dale Quickle, number 31, they take a 20-0 lead going into the fourth quarter. And the Indians are hard-pressed to catch up. But the pitchback this time goes to Nathan Johnson, number 43, and for 8 yards out, he goes into the end zone, standing up. Now it's 20-7. Another plunge by the big running back, Nathan Johnson, into the end zone. It's now 20-14, and on the very last play of the football game, Robin Watson is back. He throws a desperation pass downfield to try to bring this ball game back, but it's intercepted by number 46, J.B. Dunbar, and that's all she wrote in that great thrilling contest, won by Northwestern State 20-14.
As we mentioned, that game was at Northwestern. 2 years ago, it was 46-0 Northeast right here in Monroe. And so we're set for a big one, and we'll be back to detail the two teams for you, beginning with a look at the Demons of Northwestern State as College Football Today continues.
Light beer, Mr. Bonaconti.
And I switched to Natural Light.
You switched from that other light beer?
Yeah, I think Natural Light's got the taste that leaves them all in the backfield.
You bet, and there's nothing artificial in this less-filling beer. It's made with only natural ingredients.
The real point is taste. Besides, since I switched to Natural Light, I'm making a name for myself.
Hey, Nick Bonaconti! Hey. Where? I know him.
Natural Light. Taste is why you'll switch.
A super automotive value from Sears. Sears Heavy Duty 48 Shock. Designed for control and comfort. Now on sale at our lowest price of the year. Only $8.88 each. You save 30%.
No matter what you spend on tires, you know you can count on Sears. Sears Guardsman Bias Ply, our most economical tire. As low as $22.88.
At the home of the diehard.
In looking at Northwestern State's record last year, it was not a good one in terms of wins and losses, but however, they are off to a great start this year, as you can see. They are 4-0. They are ranked 4th currently in Division I AA of the NCAA this week, and so they are off to an excellent start and have a lot on the line here today as they play at Northeast. Their coach, A.L. Williams, is in his 6th season at the helm, and he has a real strong offensive philosophy, Ben. It goes all the way back to when he was a successful high school football coach and produced some great quarterbacks.
Yes, he did. At Woodlawn High in Shreveport, Louisiana, he had a couple of luminaries we all recognize. Terry Bradshaw of Pittsburgh and Joe Ferguson of Buffalo. Two exceptional quarterbacks. And he has another one coming along this time, Steve, a young man named Bobby Hebert, who can do it all. There he is, Bobby Hebert, number 12, 6 feet 4 inches tall. He has a rifle arm, and he can scramble. He's a good runner under pressure and has performed very well in their 4 games to date.
The fellow they build their offense around, however, is number 44, Joe Delaney, a great one.
Oh, Joe, it really is. He's the speed burner, 183-pounder, number 44, and they think he'll go very high in the NFL draft. He has that kind of speed, 9.3 in 100, 4.4 in the 40, and he'll handle the ball about 30 times per contest. That's a working man's day.
As always, you have to have the horses up front to get the job done, and they have them.
Yes, 53, Warren Griffith, who is an all-purpose center, and next to him, a real strong fellow, 68, Fred Galloway, 265 pounds.
The defense is young, but they are experienced. We'll be back in just a minute now to bring you a look at the Indians of Northeast Louisiana on College Football Today.
You can feel us coming now, a fresh look on the scene, with a whole new style of living, light and crisp and clean.
That's why now we say the age of 7 Up this year, because we love that crisp, refreshing taste, so light and crystal clear. Move it up, look it up.
Hey, Dave Tucker's turning 7 Up.
America is turning 7 Up. Reach it up, feel it up.
Mike Schmidt's turning 7 Up.
America is turning 7 Up.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car without stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
As you can see from Northeast's record last year, they too did not have a great deal of success in terms of number of games won, but they are off to a good start, 2-1. Their only loss at Iowa State, a team that is perhaps a little bit out of their league. Their next 2 games have been very successful, however, against competition more in their own mold. Their head coach, John David Crow, the Heisman Trophy winner, former NFL great for the St. Louis Cardinals, also in his 6th year, and like A.L. Williams of Northwest, Ben, he too has a strong offensive philosophy.
Yes, he does. He likes to use multi-formations. He likes to put men in motion to flood zones with his pass receivers, and his quarterbacks can really throw the football. They do a great job for him, especially John Holman, right here, number 14. He's a big, strong kid, about 205 pounds, and he takes charge on the field. He can run with the football, too, but he prefers to throw it, and he can throw deep.
They also have a good running back at Northeast in the person of number 43.
43, Nathan Johnson. He's kind of the same kind of runner as Delaney is, a little bit more powerful perhaps, but he has breakaway speed, and he'll catch the ball well coming out of the backfield.
Speaking of catching the ball at the wide receiver positions, they have a couple of guys with good hands. Maybe not a lot of height, Ben, but they can do it.
Yes, 4 Tag Rom and 26 Mitch Renfro, the Renfro family of football players. They're both medium-sized receivers, but they're quick, nifty, and have good hands. They have the intelligence to get open in the seams of a zone defense.
At tight end, a big, strong player and a good blocker as well in Robert Newman.
Number 80, Robert Newman. You'll see him standing up in his offensive position, just flexed slightly from his tackle. He's not in a traditional blocking mold, but he's a #1 pass receiver.
Defensively, they do have some people hurt, and they will be tested. We'll be back with a final word from Monroe in just a minute.
Television should be more than an electronic tranquilizer. At its best as an art form, television should touch you, involve you, move you. The arts of television experience it at its best on the one television that is itself a work of art, the Emmy Award-winning Sony Trinitron. Sony, the one and only.
JCPenney's Plain Pockets corduroy jeans are a great buy at $13.50. But now, for a limited time only, our sale makes them an incredible buy at 20% off. They come in lots of terrific colors with the same kind of styling and fit as the best-selling corduroys, but for only $10.80 a pair. So hurry over right now and pocket an extra $2.70. JCPenney's Plain Pockets corduroys. At 20% off, they're just plain fantastic. Plain Pocket shirts also on sale.
Well, from what we've learned so far, we should see some points put on the board, Ben.
No doubt about it. With a total of 60 passes average per game, I think we'll see 75 passes in this football game, Steve.
Be sure to stay tuned now for the big one between Northwestern State and Northeast Louisiana in just a minute.
It's the stars of the Love Boat and their all-star passengers on an all-new All-Star Family Feud special. And on the Love Boat,
I get excited just being around you, Jonesy.
An astronomer falls in love with a heavenly body.
Tonight on ABC.
This is a snapper lawnmower, and underneath it a new accessory called the snapperizer. With this revolutionary new attachment, a snapper becomes a whole new machine that vacuums and pulverizes leaves and bags them for disposal or a ready-made mulch. And look what a job the snapperizer does on southern pine straw. It picks it up clean and bags it, too. This fall, get a snapper and snapperize your leaves and pine straw.
Lamkin Small Engine Monroe, Bill's Motor Company, Rayville.
The best deal under the sun is coming to Monroe Building and Loan.
How long is the warranty on this set?
Just look at that picture.
But the warranty.
The colors are so vivid.
The warranty.
And about this cabinet, it is genuine plastic.
I'm Curtis Mathis. We want you to know about our limited warranty. It's the longest in the business. 4 years. Why is ours that good? Simple. Our televisions are that good.
Curtis Mathis, the most expensive television in America, and worth it.
The Silver Season TV game.
NCAA college football. Today, from Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, the Demons of Northwestern State against the Indians of Northeast Louisiana. And this ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet and your Chevy dealer with Chevette, Monza, Citation, and the new Monte Carlo Chevys up ahead for 1981. By Light Beer, everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Xerox, we're big in small copiers. Welcome back to Malone Stadium on the campus of Northeast Louisiana, where today Northwestern State and Northeast collide in a big meeting of cross-state rivalries. And now here come the Northwestern Demons, coached by A.L. Williams. You see their record there. They are 4-0 for 1980. They are currently ranked 4th in NCAA Division I AA, off to an outstanding start for 1980. And now the Northeast Indians, under the direction of their head coach John David Crow, they are 2-1. And as you see, their opening game loss was against a much larger school at Iowa State. They, too, are off to a pretty good start. Both of these teams coming off less than productive seasons last year, looking to rebound, and obviously both have a lot to gain by winning here today. 3,000 balloons being released as we have a magnificent day for football. The temperature near 80 degrees, a slight breeze blowing, and an excellent, excellent prospect for college football here on ABC once again this afternoon. Good afternoon once again, everyone. I'm Steve Zabriskie. I'll be calling the play for you. Working as our expert commentator, the former head coach at the Air Force Academy, Ben Martin. And Ben, realistically looking at the two teams and what they have done this season coming into the game, Northeast, the home team, would have to be considered the underdog, I think.
Yes, but just slightly. They're really fired up, and they have confidence in what they can do. They're coming off a good win a week ago, as is Northwestern, of course. But they're going to throw the football. They love to throw the football. It's a great day for it, and I think you're going to see an awful lot of great action. There may be a few errors in it because these are eager, young teams, and they want to please. They want to please us. They want to please you.
Speaking of errors, Northwestern has had a tremendous offensive show and, in fact, have been able to overcome some big errors by the way of turnovers and penalties. In spite of that, they've continued to roll up many, many yards per game.
Yes, they have 470 yards total offense per game and 26 points per game and 285 yards passing per game, 31 passes per game. That's a bunch. Last week against McNeese State, they won the football game despite 6 turnovers against them and over 100 yards in penalties against them.
Well, Ben, what do you think Northeast, if they are the slight underdog, is going to have to do to win this football game?
Well, Northeast is going to have to execute their passing plays extremely well with a high efficiency. About 60% should do it. They have to employ their offensive theory, which is lots of formations, lots of men in motion to confuse that defense. And I think their defense is going to have to contain Bobby Hebert as he tries to roll against that corner. So they have a big challenge ahead of them, but I think they're up to it.
Now let's go down on the field and meet the starting lineup, the players from Northwestern State. Number 17 at wide receiver for Northwestern State University from Oil City, Louisiana, Randy Lyles. Number 21 at free safety from Opelousas, Louisiana, Darrell Toussaint. At tailback, number 44 from Houghton, Louisiana, Joe Delaney. Number 53, the center from Baker, Florida, Warren Griffith. Number 54, an offensive tackle from DeRidder, Louisiana, Johnny Skinner. Number 60, the nose guard from Bryan, Texas, Mike Ford. Number 68, offensive guard from DeRidder, Louisiana, Fred Galloway. At defensive tackle, number 70, from Garland, Texas, Bud Snodgrass. Number 79 at defensive tackle from Shreveport, Louisiana, Stacey Holder. Number 84 at tight end from Sterlington, Louisiana, Doug Manning. Also at tight end, number 88 from Monroe, Louisiana, Barry Rubin. And the head coach of Northwestern State's Demons in his 6th year, A.L. Williams. For the Indians of Northeast Louisiana, number 35, the strong side defensive end from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, Gary Hines. At weak side defensive end, number 85 from Lafayette, Louisiana, Barry Broussard. The defensive left tackle from Pittsburgh, Texas, Ricky Isaac. Number 83, the defensive right tackle from Hermitage, Arkansas, Ken Poole. Number 77, the nose guard from Plaquemine, Louisiana, Stan McNair. Strong side linebacker, number 38 from West Monroe, Louisiana, Ricky Sanders. Number 46 at weak side linebacker from Chicago Heights, Illinois, Jim Greer. At left cornerback, number 47 from Ruston, Louisiana, Keith Sims. Number 45 at right cornerback from Mangum, Louisiana, Roosevelt Strotter. The weak side safety, number 31 from Fort Worth, Texas, Jody Norman. And the strong side safety, number 23 from Pittsburgh, Texas, Steve Isaac. The head coach of the Indians of Northeast Louisiana in his 6th season, John David Crow. There you have both teams. We'll be back to kick it off here at Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, as Northwestern takes on the Northeast Indians.
Why? The question is why? The question is why?
81 Caprice Classic. You can spend more. The question is, why? Why spend more for a smooth, quiet ride, plus room and luxury like this? Why pay more for V6 mileage estimates like these? Chevrolet Caprice Classic. You can spend more.
You know, Fireman's Fund always reminds you, look for the sign of the independent insurance agent. We do it with cheering sections and puzzles and fireworks, even a marching band. But no matter how we show it, look for it. Because for someone who works for you, who gets the best policy and price, you'll never find a better place to hang your hat. In the yellow pages, Fireman's Fund Insurance Companies.
You are about to experience the sounds and excitement of drag racing with Kenner's new electronic drag racing game, Red Line. Red Line puts you in the driver's seat. You change the gears. You hear the rubber burn. You hear the scream of revs as you step on the gas. It takes split-second timing and skill or blown engine. Red Line gives you readouts of RPMs, elapsed time, and miles per hour.
248 miles per hour.
Red Line, the sounds and thrills of drag racing. Drive one.
Steve Zabriskie along with Ben Martin welcoming you back to Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, where we're just about ready for the kickoff. Northwestern Louisiana, whom you see there in white with purple pants, has won the toss. They have elected to receive. They will be operating from the south end of the field, and the way the wind is blowing now, it's really a crosswind coming across the field from west to east. Northeast, of course, will be kicking off and defending the goal to your left. As you look at Bubba Toops, number 3, their kicker, a senior from Pascagoula, Mississippi, who will be doing the kicking off and most of the placements for them. Mark Duper and Tommy Rushing are back deep to receive for Northwestern, standing at about the 2-yard line. Mark Duper, the deepest of the receiving backs. And we're underway. A low line drive kick goes to an up man on the 10-yard line. Rushing is out to the 35-yard line. Tommy Rushing, tackled by number 21, Dwayne Robinson, a sophomore, run out of bounds at that point, and so Northwestern will have good field position to start the game at their own 35. Offensively for Northwestern, Bobby Hebert, Joe Delaney, and Carlton Finister is the fullback, number 33. Walter Mays, Randy Lyles, and Barry Rubin, the tight end, are the receivers. Up front, Skinner, Schillings, Griffith, Galloway, and Lee. 1st and 10. Northwestern from their own 35. Carlton Finister, the ball carrier. Finister getting good yardage very near the first down as he gets across the 40, near the 43.5-yard line. Ricky Isaac, number 72, the left side defensive tackle, made the play. Defensively for Northeast, Sanders, Greer, Sims, Isaac, Norman, and Straughter. As the pitch comes to the far side, Delaney, the ball carrier. Delaney picks up the first down and is run out of bounds at midfield right near the 50-yard line by 23, Steve Isaac, the senior defensive back from Pittsburgh, Texas. The first carry of the game for 9.3 speed of Joe Delaney.
They got a hurry-up offense going on here. They'd like to get it off, but the ball is not spotted, Steve, so they have to slow down a little bit. That Delaney is great on the in-and-out move. He has the speed to get away with it. Most backs would have to cut back against the grain to get away from that pursuit, but he can run away from it.
They mark it inside Northeast territory, just at the 49-yard line, where it is 1st and 10. And again, it's Delaney this time to the right. Good blocking at the point of attack as Delaney gets inside the 45 to the 44. 72, Ricky Isaac again in on the play for Northeast as you look at what Delaney has done so far in 1980.
That's a bunch of rushes for just 4 football games, like 19 or so a game. He's a busy man.
They are going very quickly, and now a breakdown in the backfield. Bobby Hebert has to eat the football and slips down for a slight yardage back near the 45. Each back took a different direction, and Hebert had to keep it. Gary Hines, number 35, covered him.
Yeah, it's a broken play. He was expecting the toss pitch to go to the short side of the field, but Joe Delaney wanted to go to the wide side, so he had no one to pitch to.
Again, they're going very quickly as Hebert sprints out and fires the first pass of the game, and it is complete and bumped out of bounds at the 34 or 33-yard line of Northeast. Is number 17, Randy Lyles. Roosevelt Straughter, number 45, made the tackle in the secondary. Lyles, their leading receiver, coming into the game with 14 catches for 246 yards. A gain of 11 yards and another first down for Northwestern.
That was a tough play to start off the passing game. He's a right-hander. He rolls left and throws that sideliner about 30 yards across the field, right on the money.
First down from the 33.5 of Northeast. Finister, as a penalty marker, goes down, crosses the 30-yard line. Number 77, Stanford McNair, the nose guard, a sophomore from Plaquemine, Louisiana, made the tackle, but as we mentioned, a penalty flag has been thrown. Referee George White officiating today as we await the preliminary indication. Apparently, it will be against Northeast as referee White marks off 5 yards. Down inside the 29-yard line, an offside infraction against Northeast for the first penalty of the afternoon. And it'll be first down and 5 yards to go for Northwestern as we have no score here in the first quarter.
The Demons are really fast-pacing them, Steve, and I think the Indians are just going to have to catch up with the pace. The early pace is terrific, very rapid.
Lyles, the only wide receiver, split wide to the right as the pitch goes to Delaney running to the right. Delaney breaks the tackle, picks up the first down, and is finally driven out of bounds near the 21 or 22-yard line. Number 72, Ricky Isaac, had a shot at him, But Delaney broke the tackle and went to the outside.
This is your basic toss sweep, student body right in this particular case. The linemen all reach block, and Delaney has a great speed. He hesitates, and then he turns the corner, puts his shoulder down to get that extra yardage right around the 20-yard line. They're in great scoring position already early in the contest.
Steve Isaac bumped him out of bounds. That's Delaney's third carry. He already has 21 yards. On 1st and 10, Delaney again the ball carrier. Outside, crossing the 20 to the 18. Number 45, Roosevelt Strotter, and number 23, Steve Isaac, both combined to make the stop at that point.
I don't know if he can keep this pace up. He's run about 400 yards already laterally, but he's in great condition, Joe Delaney. He turns the corner now, but the pursuit is geared to their speed now, and he has to cut back.
Finister, the ball carrier this time, as they go very quickly. Ricky Sanders, number 38, comes up to meet him there with help from number 72, Ricky Isaac. They are going very quickly, Ben.
Yes, this is an interesting tactic that Coach Williams is employing, to fast-pace them and run the corners on them to try to establish that speed, and then the sprint-out pass coming up.
Bear looking for Lyles again. He has it at the 5, and he's covered immediately there. Keith Sims making the tackle immediately on Randy Lyles, a gain of 11 yards and another first down.
Yeah, Randy Lyles just runs a square out pattern, and it's a half roll as Bobby Hebert sets up, and he's very accurate. Good timing, delivery, and nice catch.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line.
Uh-oh.
Delaney very near the goal line. Did he score? There is no indication from the officials. Apparently he fell just short of the goal line. Steve Isaac, number 23, stopping him there.
They're still fast-pacing them, Steve. Look at that. No huddle. No huddle.
This time from the I formation. From the 1-foot line, Delaney scores. Touchdown, Northwestern, with 12 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Very impressive drive, Ben, as they take the opening kickoff and jam it right in less than 3 minutes.
Yes, and there's the guy, Joe Delaney. He's the workhorse that carries the ball an awful lot of times. I think he's going to go over the 30 mark in this game if they keep it up.
Delaney scoring from officially 1 yard out, on to attempt the extra point. Dale Quickle, number 31, who does the short field goals and extra points. And Quickle's kick is apparently no good. A penalty marker is down on the play. Offsides is the indication against Northeast. They will go through the formality of discussing it. It is good as they decline the penalty. Quickle's kick makes it 7-0. So with 12:06 remaining in the first quarter, Northwestern scores very quickly to take a 7-0 lead over Northeast. We'll be back in just a minute.
In 1931, Texaco developed a new gasoline for emergency vehicles called Fire Chief. Not just for fire engines, but family cars, too. In 1941, Texaco helped create a fuel refining process for the national defense.
For tomorrow, Texaco is working on a way of turning America's plentiful coal into clean burning gas. These are some of the ways Texaco is making good use of America's energy resources. Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
This compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
They scored very quickly, a fast-paced offense, in 2:54, the opening mark, and Hebert just spins around. It's the isolation play, power drive out of the I formation. Joe Delaney just powers in there. That's a play that he'd scored 6 times on prior to this contest, and he looks like he really likes that. Running the power stuff as well as the sweeps, Joe Delaney.
They have taken the penalty on the kickoff, the ensuing kickoff, which was the option of Northwestern, and they will now kick off from the 45-yard line. Number 99 is Leo Clement, a sophomore from Crowley, Louisiana, who does the placements and also the punting. And there you see what he has done punting. Back deep to receive, number 43 is Nathan Johnson, and back with him is number 2, Alfred Kenny, a wide receiver as well. Kicking it high and short. Kenny will come up to take it at the 17-yard line, is run out of bounds at about the 19-yard line almost immediately. David Hennigan, number 45, over there to bump him out of bounds. not as good a field position for Northeast as they begin their first offensive possession from their own 19-yard line. A 39-yard kickoff and a 3-yard return by Alfred Kinney. In the backfield for Northeast, John Holman is the quarterback. Number 43, the tailback, who gets the football is Nathan Johnson. And Johnson has maybe 2 yards as he gets across the 20, close to the 21. The other running back will be number 33, Theotis Moore, at fullback.
I think that play was designed just to unload a little nervous energy that time. They just played smash ball right at them. I think they'll open up very soon.
Getting the feel of things on second down and 8 yards to go. Theotis Moore. Moore breaks the tackle and gets to the 24-yard line, stepping over a defender. Finally covered by number 61, Gary Morgan, and number 92, Sam Jenkins. There you see the offensive backfield for Northeast with Holman, Johnson, and Moore. The wide receivers, Mitch Renfro, younger brother of Mike Renfro of the Oilers, Tag Rome, and the tight end. And up front, it's Boucher, Johnson, and the others. Out of the I formation on third down and 5 yards to go. A quick pass, and it's complete, and the pitch from Tag Rome to Johnson is very close to first down yardage as Johnson was bumped out of bounds as they tried a little flea flicker action. Hennigan ran him out.
I haven't seen the flea flicker lately, Steve. Holman just bangs it out there to a quick hitch, and here comes the trailer back, Nathan Johnson, but the defense was alert to it. Evidently, they were not surprised by that move, and he ran out of running room, so they have to kick it away.
Just short of the needed first down yardage. It'll be fourth down and about a foot to go, and they will punt it away. In to punt is number 15, Weimer. Bill Weimer's averaging 36.6 yards per kick. Bobby Craighead, number 24, is the deep receiver. Very high, very short, end-over-end kick. Bounding at the 47-yard line and taking a Northeast roll inside the 30. It's going to turn out to be a good one as it's inside the 25-yard line before it's finally down there. 10 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Northwestern leading Northeast 7-0.
General Motors introduces Computer Command Control, a new system that uses this onboard computer to help GM achieve the highest corporate average fuel economy in its history, while reducing exhaust emissions to the lowest in GM history. From now on, you'll activate this computer when you step on the gas. And it's an all-standard and most optional gasoline engine from Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac. The computer monitors oxygen in the exhaust, engine speed, and coolant temperature, adjusting the air-fuel mixture to control combustion so that the catalytic converter can minimize emissions. Result, we're helping to clean the air while giving good fuel economy. Computer Command Control, designed and engineered for a changing world.
Football safety is of great concern to coaches, fans, and participants. By using approved equipment and teaching and learning the correct blocking and tackling methods, the risk of injury can be minimized. The NCAA is working to prevent injuries. Help it be successful.
Following the punt of 48 yards, the ball now resting at the 24.5-yard line of Northwestern, where they will have their second offensive possession. As you look at their quarterback, Bobby Hebert. First and 10, Northwestern from their own 24. Finister. And Ricky Sanders, number 38, wraps him up.
No huddle again.
Again, they're going very quickly. Finister picking up good yardage, getting perhaps 5.5 yards. It's 2nd and 5. Delaney trapped in the backfield and hauled down with a good defensive play for number 83, Kenneth Poole. That could be a key to the game for Northeast to keep Delaney from getting outside. He has 26 yards on 7 carries so far.
I think he's going to attract the crowd. I think you have quick keys by the linebackers on number 4-4.
On third down, over the middle, Hebert's pass is incomplete. Intended for number 88, Barry Rubin, the tight end. Eric Downing was defending on the play as again they went very quickly.
Hebert, quick drop back, just a curl pattern over the middle. He should have caught this ball. Really, he had it a little bit behind him, but just as he was about to put it away, he was smeared.
So it'll be 4th down and about 7 yards to go. Northwestern will have to punt it away. They will be kicking into a slight crosswind. Could really affect both punters today, the way it is.
Here they come.
Good line drive, deep shot. Landing around the 20-yard line, it'll be down there. Mitch Renfro had no chance to return that kick. And Northeast will have to start again from near their own 20-yard line when we return to Monroe in just a minute.
Excuse me. I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. You know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
Falcon Parcel Service in Mountain View, California runs their Chevy Chevette fleet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they know Chevette's durable enough to stay in service. To be in any business today, you've got to cover a lot of territory. And that's one of the reasons you'll see Chevy Chevette working all over the country. And starring in the Joey Chick with Thrill show, the 1981 Chevy Chevette. One tough son of a gun.
On ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic gold medalists and world-class figure skaters, the World Lumberjacks Championships, and a report on the Holmes LE WBC heavyweight bout today.
And here's a look at a nervous coach, John David Crow. He did not want to fall behind early against an explosive team such as Northwestern State has. But there he is, behind again as he was a year ago.
Northeast 1st and 10 from their own 21, trailing 7-0. Again, a mix-up in the backfield, but Johnson got the handoff anyway and almost picked up the 1st down. They ran a little counterattack. Holman and the wingback running into each other, but Holman still got the ball to Johnson, and he picked up about 9 yards.
This Holman does a good job of getting the ball to him. There was a little crossbuck action in the backfield, and the lead back, Nathan Johnson, went a little bit too slowly and was indecisive, but John Holman did a good job of picking up where the mistake occurred.
I believe I said Johnson was the ball carrier. It was Fiotis Moore, and you see what he's done in 1980 so far. That his 2nd carry of this afternoon.
I'm a little surprised they're running those plays inside. They're little delayed hitters in there, and I think they're just trying to get their linemen settled down to get a little field position here so they can do their thing with their multiple formations.
There's the total offense comparison as Moore did pick up enough yardage for the 1st down just at the 31-yard line. 1st and 10 Northeast. Holman wants to put it up. And he completes it to Tag Rome at the 45-yard line on a beautiful catch. Rome was hit very hard but held on to the football. Mike Camden, number 56, covering on the play for Northwestern.
Yeah, John Holman comes off a little play pass fake here to the I formation back, Nathan Johnson. He plants on the half roll, and Tag Rome had run about a 15-yard route, curls to the inside, makes a leaping catch. For a little guy, he really got up there high, about 10 feet off the ground.
Gain of 14 yards. It's another 1st down for Northeast. They're operating from their own 45. And a quick out pass, incomplete, intended on the near sideline for Larry Hamilton, number 37, a junior from Natchitoches who had come into the ball game. The incompletion will make it 2nd down and 10. We have 8:52 remaining in the 1st quarter.
One of the defenders got in the throwing lane that time. That was a check-off play. They thought they had a wide open spot for the quick look in to the sidelines, but the defender stepped right off and got in the throwing lane and tipped the ball away.
Tag Rome, number 4, back into the game at wide receiver for the Indians of Northeast. And Rome goes split wide to the left on 2nd down and 10. Northeast from their own 45. Double wing set. Fiotis Moore now going in motion back to the middle of the backfield. As Holman puts it up, it's tipped and falls incomplete. Intended for number 80, Robert Newman, the tight end. Number 45, David Hennigan, was defending as you look at Hennigan returning to the Northwestern defensive huddle. Holman now has completed 2 of 4 passes for 18 yards.
That ball was thrown a little bit behind the receiver too, Steve, and I'd say that the Demons are playing their pass defenders a bit more tightly than are the Indians, and so they're jumping on those receivers very quickly.
Northwestern leading Northeast 7-0 here in the middle of the 1st quarter. Holman wants to put it up on third down. Firing over the middle and complete to Tagrom. Picking up more than enough for the first down as he's into Northwestern territory at the 38-yard line. Darrell Toussaint, number 21, made the tackle.
John Holman, straight drop back this time as he has 4 receivers out, 2 to each side. He looks over the middle to find Tagrom, who was not his number 1 receiver, but this little kid can really catch. Great control of his body, great position, protects the ball, securely puts it away, and makes a crucial first down. They're in scoring territory now, plus territory for the Indians.
A gain of 18 yards. First and 10, Northeast on the draw. Nathan Johnson running hard, processing the 35 to the 33. Stood up right in the middle of the Northwestern defense. The gain will be close to 5 yards. About 4 or 4.5 yards. It'll be second down and a long 6. Bruce McCrary, number 57, a sophomore linebacker from Garland, Texas, stood him up.
They're into their game now, throwing those spot passes and countering with the quick draw.
Second down and 6 yards to go. Northeast at the Northwestern 33. Coleman complete to Renfro, and Renfro is inside the 15-yard line as he's finally tackled around the 12. Bruce McCrary, number 57, again making the defensive play.
This was really a cute move by Mitch Renfro. He came in motion back toward the formation. John Holman waited for him to get in the seam. He ran a very intelligent pattern. He stopped when he was wide open and turned his numbers back to his quarterback and made a fine reception.
A gain of 21 yards as Northeast passing attack is clicking now for successive gains in excess of 15 yards apiece. First and 10 from the 12-yard line of Northwestern. Theodis Moore inside the 10, close to the 7-yard line. Mike Ford, the senior nose guard from Bryan, Texas, number 60, tripped him up.
A lot of running room up the middle as the offensive line is taking big spaces for a guy like Theodis Moore to have an automatic alley to run through. There's Coach A.L. Williams on the sideline, a great offensive mind, and he's a little worried now because his goal line is being threatened, and he has 7 sophomores on the field as defenders.
Northeast with their first scoring threat of the afternoon with 6:43 left in the first quarter. Second down. Johnson showing good speed to the outside, inside the 5 and run out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Number 32, Spencer Mallett, ran him out of bounds.
Nathan Johnson, he has good speed. This is just a speed sweep. He gets a lot of penetration here, which runs him off of his pattern, so he has to lose about 2 steps, but he still runs right for the corner, trying to get to that pylon that marks the goal line and the end zone.
It is third down, 2 yards to go. At the 3-yard line, they can get a first down by getting to about the 1.5. From just outside the 3 on third down and 2. Johnson again, trapped in the backfield and dropped. No, he did not hand off the ball. Holman, with a good bit of faking, looked as if he had given the ball to Johnson, and Holman had kept it, but he was smothered immediately by Spencer Mallett.
I think that John Holman really wanted to hand this ball off. So he couldn't reach him, and he saw that he'd have to throw the ball. The pattern was broken as Johnson ran too shallow a route to run the off-tackle hole. He could see it was jammed up, and he was going to turn the corner before he even got the ball.
There's Spencer, who's made a couple of good defensive plays, turning back the scoring threat of Northeast. Now, Bubba Toops, number 3, is in. Out of the hold of Robin Wasson, number 13, will attempt the field goal. No, it is a fake. Toops running with the football down to the 4-yard line, and that will not be enough.
How about that for trickery?
Spencer Mallett again was there to make the play for Northwestern. As they faked the field goal, Bubba Toops, who's a 195-pound senior, could not get to the outside and was stopped short of first down yardage. Northwestern takes over on downs inside their own 5.
I think that Toops was just a little bit anxious to get going. He showed the fake a little early. He just took the direct snap and runs for the corner, but he was forced to turn back. The plan was for him to run all the way to the corner, but he couldn't do it as the defenders were alert. I think they thought perhaps there was something coming up there.
They did appear to be ready for it. That is the 9th time that Northwestern has repelled an offensive team within their 5-yard line this year, but there was a penalty against Northwestern.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Half the distance to the goal, down to the 2-yard line. And we have a non-contact foul. Non-contact foul called against Northwestern. Ordinarily a 15-yard infraction. half the distance to the goal, moving it to the 4. It is 1st and 10 from their own 2-yard line for Northwestern. Delaney breaking through a good hole and running it out to the 15-yard line. He's finally hung up by number 31, Dale Quickle, in the secondary. Excuse me, number 31, Jody Norman in the secondary, along with number 23, Steve Isaac.
Steve, I think the non-contact foul, just in thinking about it, was the jubilation of the defenders. They did not return the ball immediately to the nearest official. They did something else with it, like throw it up in the air or throw it on the ground, which is a no-no.
Delaney gained 13 yards on a first down. Delaney again has the football, and this time he's wrapped up the line of scrimmage. Excellent defensive work by Ricky Isaac, number 72, who came over the top of a blocker to knock Delaney down.
But the Indians know they must stop number 44, Joe Delaney, if they have a chance in this football game. And they're keying on him. Wherever Joe goes, everybody else goes.
Delaney has carried 9 times today for 41 yards. Gain of 3. It's 2nd down, 7 yards to go. From the 17-yard line, Delaney again making a nice move in the backfield. Getting it out to the 23-yard line. Ricky Isaac, number 72, and also number 35, Gary Hines, were there.
In this position, the Indians went to an 8-man gap defense and made Joe Delaney cut back. He had a good block at the corner, though, and in that gap defense, you don't get much pursuit, and they gambled, and I think they lost in that particular tactical call.
Short of the needed yardage for the first down, it'll be 3rd down and 3, maybe 2.5. Northwestern with Delaney again, this time to the right side. Excellent defensive work will not prevent the first down as Delaney powers it out to the 30-yard line. But just a super piece of defensive work in the secondary by number 47, Keith Sims from Plaquemine, who played off a block to make the tackle.
Again, the tactical battle in this particular play was run by Bobby Hebert as he tossed out a way. They had a safety blitz coming from the right side of your screen, and Joe Delaney ran to the left side of your screen. Your defense, and he made a critical first down.
Delaney now with 54 yards on the afternoon. 1st and 10 Northwestern as Hebert wants to put it up. Firing it far and too long on the far sideline, intended for Doug Manning, his tight end, a junior from Sterlington. It'll be 2nd down and 10. 3 minutes, 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play. Northwestern leading Northeast 7-0.
Bobby Hebert just forced that play a little bit. He was under no duress. He could have laid it up about 1 count later and had a real good gain to his tight end.
2nd down and 10. Northwestern from their own 30. Again, Delaney. The blockers out in front, waiting for the play to develop, gets to the 37.
He's a piece of work. He just coasted until his blockers formed, and then he shifted into overgear, drove in there. 54 yards on 11 rushes and 1 touchdown. There it is. It's the old student body, quick toss sweep. Gets a long line of scrimmage. Now he's coasting. Now he sees a blocking pattern, and he turns it on, cuts back inside. That's positive yardage by a fine running back, Joe Delaney, number 44.
Roosevelt Strutter, number 45, making a good play defensively for Northeast as we have a major infraction marked off against Northwestern, nullifying the run, a clip against Northwestern, moving the ball back to the 21.5-yard line, nullifying Delaney's gain.
Northwestern State has been extremely penalized this year. I think over 400 yards and penalties in just 4 contests. So they have been a little bit over-aggressive along the offensive line. They've been victimized by holding penalties, and that particular time on the speed sweep, they were clipping.
That's their 2nd penalty. It now is 2nd down and 18 yards to go. Hebert throwing back. Delaney with a good block. Crosses the 30 to the 33 before he's finally run out of bounds.
We get another clip
and
down.
Another penalty marker is down, yes. Jim Greer, number 46, out of bounds, but 2 penalty markers were thrown, and it, again, as you see, will be a clip against Northwestern. Referee George White making the indication.
Bobby Hebert did a great job of just completing that pass. They had a safety blitz once again from the outside, and that's where John David told me that he was going to put the pressure when he blitzed, not his inside linebackers as he'd done previously in the scouting report, but coming from the outside. You can see now the pass has been complete, a little throwback screen, and here's a clip right there. hit him from behind, and that is a bona fide call, and 2 officials spotted it, and that was an illegal block that sprung Delaney for a longer gain than he deserved, and so they're pushed back again. 2 15-yarders almost back-to-back, Steve.
Steve Schillings, number 66, making the block on number 83, Kenneth Poole of Northeast. And it is now at the 11-yard line, as it was marked half the distance to the goal from the point of the infraction. It'll still be second down, but now 29 yards to go.
This is where you don't want to let them out of there. Make them pay the price. Keep them back in there.
Delaney cutting it upfield and crossing the 20 to the 22-yard line. Keith Sims, number 40, and Kenneth Poole, number 83, combining for the defensive play for Northeast. Delaney now has carried 13 times for 72 yards.
Delaney must be in fabulous physical condition. He's running a 50-yard dash about every 30 seconds here, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down one iota. But they have slowed down the pace. At least they're huddling now.
Giving us a chance, at least, to give you a couple of replays now and again. On third down, Hebert just does get it away, but I've got to believe that the contact caused him to throw that ball high over his own bench and out of bounds. Gary Hines, number 35, with the defensive play. The incompletion will make it fourth down and 18 yards to go. And with 2:29 remaining in the first quarter, as you look at Hebert leaving the field, Northwestern will have to kick it away.
That's a fine completion record, over 60%. That was that outside pressure as the ends came very hard to contain Bobby Hebert, and he was blindsided that time. He's lucky he was not intercepted.
Leo Clement on to punt. Clement, who's averaging 41.8, got off a 52-yarder last time. This one coming down short, taking a Northeast bounce back across the 45, their own 45, and it is down at the Northeast 46. Mitch Renfro has not had a chance yet to return a punt. Only a 32-yarder that time. And we have 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first quarter. A reminder on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football live at 8 o'clock Central Time this Monday. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chicago Bears. Doug Williams of Tampa Bay, their fine quarterback. And, of course, Walter Payton leading the Chicago Bears offensive attack. That's ABC's NFL Monday Night Football this Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Time over most of these ABC stations. First and 10, Northeast, with Holman at quarterback. And Dwayne Robinson into the ball game at running back. David Hennigan, number 45, with a big defensive play, running it back inside the 35-yard line of Northeast.
We have the inside blitz. Both linebackers coming. John Holman has to rush his throw. He's hit. The ball just pops up in the air. We have a very alert play by Hennigan in the backfield. He comes down with the ball and runs to the sidelines. But a clip in there. They didn't know where he was going, but he was going toward that goal line. Good defensive pressure on the passing game, and it caused the turnover.
There was a flag, however, on the play, and David Hennigan's defensive play might be nullified. We'll wait and see.
No, I think he had possession.
It may have occurred, yes, and from where the penalty marker was thrown, it was obvious that it was after he gained possession of the ball. An illegal block was a preliminary indication. Yes, blocking below the waist, which is not allowed on that type of play.
No, and any turnover of possession, right. Like a kicking game or an intercept, you have to block above the waist. That prevents a lot of knee injuries.
A.L. Williams, the head coach at Northwestern, as his team is again penalized, but they do have the football, first and 10 from their own 37. Now referee George White indicating that the ball is not quite ready for play.
Coach A.L. Williams is really concerned about the penalties his young team have been accredited with, and he's had 45 yards already in this first half and 3 major penalties, and you can't really maintain good rhythm when that's happening to you, although he's happy to have the ball back.
Northwestern leading 7-0 here in the final moments of the first quarter. Hebert with Delaney and Fenister in the backfield behind him, first and 10. On the action, Hebert to the 42-yard line before the Northeast defense jams up there. Ricky Isaac, number 72, leading the charge. It's a gain of perhaps 5.5 yards. It'll be second down and 5.
How about that? We got the Indians pony out there, nibbling on that Bermuda grass. Is that good, Paul?
I hope so. Certainly a semi-interested spectator. On second down and 5, Northwestern operating from their own 42. Hebert on a quick look-in toss completes it to number 84, Doug Manning. Manning is swarmed over by the Northeast defense almost immediately. The receiver, number 80, Victor Otis, who had come into the game, a junior from Winsboro. Number 27, Billy Joe Triplett, making the defensive hit for Northeast.
That was a very quick read and a checkoff play as they were playing with a big cushion out there, and so he just calls a quick hitch play, and he runs a quickie and makes a good game. See, he gets wig-wag signals from the sidelines that Bobby Hebert does. He doesn't. He's wig-wagging back. He says, I'd just soon have another one.
It is enough for a first down, however, as Northwestern State moves it to their own 49, where they have another 1st and 10 with 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Hebert to put it up again. Intended for Otis once again, but incomplete as he overthrew him to the outside. Again, Billy Joe Triplett was defending on the play. It'll be 3rd down, or rather 2nd down, and 10 yards to go.
Bobby Hebert seems to be a bit distressed about it. Look at here, Louisiana State, it's a favorite in this part of the country, 10-0 over Florida, and Florida's having a great year. Georgia Tech down to North Carolina. Of course, Carolina's the top team. They're in the top 20. Virginia Tech losing to Clemson, 10-0 at halftime.
Delaney on the pitch on 2nd down and 10, getting into Northeast territory. A penalty marker is thrown as the whistle is blown, and Delaney is stopped at the 48-yard line of Northeast. From the discussion and the reaction of the Northeast players, it would appear to be another infraction against Northwestern State as the Demons are retreating. And it is illegal use of the hands, the 5-yard variety, which is a new rule this year. There are now 2 illegal use of hands penalties, 1 for 5, 1 for 15.
In the drop back pass, what they call a retreat block, and on the backside of this play, they had a couple of guys retreating to set up the backside protection on the toss, and they just push somebody with their hands, not really grasping them, but this year in college football, that's just a 5-yard penalty.
That's the 5th penalty against Northwestern State for 47 yards. That makes it 2nd down, 15 yards to go. Northwestern State operating from their own 44. Hebert with another quick pass, intended for Lyles, but incomplete at midfield. Defended by number 31, Jody Norman, junior from Fort Worth, Texas. The incompletion will make it 3rd down and 15.
Yeah, Bobby Hebert read the pressure defense. They're going to have a safety blitz again. He saw the lock-on defense there, which means tight man-for-man coverage, and so he checked away, and it was a good call, but it was not executed properly.
The incompletion stops the clock with 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Both wide receivers to the right side now as Hebert sprints out and completes it to Lyles at midfield. Lyles out of bounds inside Northeast territory at the 47-yard line. Wrapped up by 23, Steve Isaac. Lyles, a senior from Oil City.
Bobby Hebert goes back to half roll sets, and they're playing him very loose because it was a real long yardage situation, and Randy Lyles just settles down in that outside seam, catches the ball, but they were giving him plenty of running room because it causes a 4th down now.
Playing prevent defense, it is now 4th and 5. Mitch Renfro back deep to receive the punt by Leo Clement. Clement hits it from about his own 43. It's a short line drive shot, and Renfro will no longer again have an opportunity to return the punt as it is down in the 13-yard line. Tim Leday down there to down it for Northwestern. A punt of 34 yards, obviously no return. And again, Northeast will not have excellent field position as they will be deep in their own territory at their 13-yard line. A reminder, with the baseball season wrapping up tomorrow, some races have yet to be decided. ABC Sunday Afternoon Baseball live at 2 Central Time tomorrow. The National League races, Houston Astros at Los Angeles and the Phillies at Montreal at 2 o'clock Central Time tomorrow on ABC. The Indians of Northeast 1st and 10 from their own 13-yard line. Penalty marker goes down as Dwayne Robinson carries the ball out near the 20. The penalty marker was thrown almost immediately as the play got underway. Darrell Toussaint, number 21, brought down Dwayne Robinson. Offsides, the indication against Northwestern State. The gain appeared to be more than 5 yards on the play, and so the option will now rest with Northeast and their quarterback, John Holman.
That's a tough one. It's about 6 of one, half a dozen of another, because they've gotten the down over, but they've got a 6-yard gain, so they traded the down for 1 yard.
Well, I don't know. What would you have done, Coach? Maybe it's closer to 2 yards. They're close to 7 yards.
Yeah, this coach, A.L. Williams, he was a high school football coach of 2 great NFL quarterbacks, Terry Bradshaw and Joe Ferguson. Ferguson comes back and helps in the springtime, I understand, as a volunteer coach.
The gain by Robinson stands. It is 2nd down, 3.5 yards to go. Johnson crosses the 20 to the 22 before he's wrapped up. 32, Spencer Mullett again making the play, the senior from DeQuincy. And number 21, Darrell Toussaint, also in for the Northwestern defense. As you see that Nathan Johnson is the leading rusher for Northeast Louisiana.
Nathan doesn't shirk contact, I'll tell you. There's his coach, John David Crow, on the sidelines. They call all the plays from the sideline. And John David, of course, was a great running back at Texas A&M and won the Heisman Trophy for being the most exceptional football player in college football in 1957.
And time has run out here at the first quarter of play at Monroe, Louisiana, and Malone Stadium on the campus of Northeast Louisiana, with Northwestern State leading Northeast Louisiana 7-0. We'll return for the second quarter action in just a minute.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes?
The delegate from New York Life wishes to...
Did the delegate say New York Life?
Yes, sir, and we...
What has New York Life got to do?
Mr. Chairman, since 1845, our company has insured 11 American presidents. 7 in this century.
Order, sir. Life insurance is a personal matter.
It's a family matter, and we vote for the candidates who choose New York Life for family protection.
Can they do that?
Even a hard job doesn't have to be tough on your feet with Sears Cushion work shoes, and they're now on sale. Save $10 on work shoes with non-marking, oil-resistant rubber soles, Goodyear welt construction, heel-to-toe cushioned insoles, and genuine leather uppers. This Oxford just $26.99. Now through October 11th, save on Sears Cushion work shoes. They help keep a hard job from being tough on your feet. At Sears, where America shops for value.
Wait till you see how good you can be with Minolta XG1.
Hey, you want to see some terrific pictures?
Depend on the automatic Minolta XG1 to give you clear, sharp pictures. It does the work. You take the credit.
Yeah, I
Hey, do you want to see some terrific pictures? No.
Yeah, look.
That's lovely.
For a limited time, get an XG1 and get a $25 rebate from Minolta. See your dealer now for details.
Steve Zabriskie along with Ben Martin, ready for the second quarter as you look at the War Bonnets. A bunch of lovelies here from Northeast Louisiana University who will be entertaining at halftime. And some of their counterparts for Northwestern State University, members of their band. Both bands are here and will be entertaining us at halftime. As we start the second quarter, Northwestern leading 7-0 over Northeast. The Northeast Indians have the football, 3rd down, 1 yard to go at their own 22. And Theodis Moore may be close to the first down yardage. We'll have to wait and see.
Demons were in there in a pinch defense. They were trying to prevent that yardage. It's close. Didn't look like he had much daylight to run to.
He needed to get to the 33-yard line, and it looks as if he's there, if just barely, as they bring the chains on to check it out. And you look at the Northwestern Demon. And they did make it, as you see. John Holman, a very interested spectator, the Northeast quarterback. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Indians at their own 23.
Shuttling those receivers in and out there. Messenger boys. One of them has the formation, and one of them has the plays. The offensive tactical approach is rather complex, so they have 2 messengers.
Both wide receivers are set to the right on 1st and 10. Holman firing it over the middle and incomplete. Intended for number 37, Larry Hamilton, the junior wide receiver from Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Larry Hamilton, number 37, was running the same pattern the number 4 Tag Rome had completed prior. That's a deep curl-in pattern, about 15-yarder down the field. But that time they had a linebacker in the throwing lane again, and they seem to be positioning themselves very well in those zones.
Chief Brave Spirit, you had a glimpse of there, cavorting on the sidelines, as it were. Second down, 10 yards to go. Northeast from their own 23. Both receivers this time set wide to the left. Johnson trying to cut back to the inside, but he cannot. Good defensive work by Northwestern. Making the defensive play, number 34, Gary Reasons, who got a hand on him and dragged him down behind the line.
This is the toss sweep with John Holman pitching back to Nathan. Nathan Johnson turns the corner. They had a crackback block in there that was supposed to form an alley to the outside, but the defender just held his ground and forced him to cut back, and there was no running room.
A gain of perhaps a half a yard. Here's the first quarter statistics, with Northwestern State having a little bit of an edge in total offense.
Pretty even, though, except for that one score. It came in the first 2 minutes of the football game.
On third down, 9.5 to go. Holman. Incomplete. Intended for number 18, Bobby Lewis, on the near sideline. David Hennigan, number 45, was defending for Northwestern, and so Northeast will have to kick it away on 4th and 9.5 from their own 23. At halftime, we're going to be taking a look at John David Crow, whom you see there, the head coach of Northeast, and some of his great exploits during his playing career. The St. Louis Cardinals in the NFL. As you know, he won the Heisman Trophy while at Texas A&M. The punt by Bill Weimer. Coming down short near midfield. Tommy Rushing, number 42, and number 48, Sonny Lewis, back there. And so Northwestern will again enjoy good field position as they have it at their own 48.5-yard line when we return to Monroe.
Laurel, Mississippi. Dave Holton might be having a heart attack.
I don't understand it. I felt fine all day.
Is the pain worse?
That hurts. Watch the road, honey.
We're almost there. I think it's his heart.
Laurel's Community Hospital has an IBM electrocardiograph system with a built-in computer. Like conventional systems, it records patterns of heart activity. But unlike those systems, it analyzes and interprets the patterns quickly and prints a comprehensive report at bedside.
Hello, Doctor.
Feeling pain now? Yes. I don't see any evidence of a heart attack. It might be indigestion. Sometimes the symptoms are very similar. I'll check you further. Can I see that, Doctor? Sure. I'll try to explain it to you. See this line right here?
IBM, helping put information to work for people.
Tomorrow, the pressure-packed National League. The Astros play the Dodgers, and the Phillies meet the Expos. Check local listings for the final regular season game in your area.
13 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the second quarter, with Northwestern still holding a 7-0 lead over Northeast.
Those defenses very scrappy. I'm surprised that they are so efficient, although there's been a lot of yardage up and down the field, just very little scoring, as you can see.
Northwestern with a 1st and 10 at their own 48.5-yard line. They have enjoyed the best field position so far, and they are enjoying their 7-0 lead. Hebert with good time. Gets to Delaney, and Delaney has it busted right out of his hands immediately by number 45, Roosevelt Strotter. Strotter with a good hit on Delaney, a sophomore from Mangan, Louisiana. Strotter, 175-pounder.
If Bobby Hebert rolls right and sets up, it's going to be a throwback out, which is a long, tough throw. The ball's near a long time, and Strotter's right there, and he shakes him loose from the football. That was a well-timed hit. He timed it exactly right. And there he is, Roosevelt Strotter. Good hit by a defensive cornerback on a great athlete, Joe Delaney.
Hebert has completed only 4 of 10 passes for 37 yards. 2nd down and 10. By number 83, Kenneth Poole. Falls forward for some short yardage. Picking up perhaps play, maybe 3.
This is just a quick draw play. They saw them in that pressure defense, and they were going to try to split the linebackers. Did a good job. It was a good call. He might have gone a lot further, except he did stumble.
3rd down, 7.5 yards to go. Northwestern just moving the ball into Northeast territory. Hebert with pressure from behind, gets it away. Lyles has it, but he's out of bounds. It's incomplete. Keith Sims, number 47, was defending, but the pass was just a little bit too far to the outside. Lyles making a good catch, but did not get the foot down.
If Bobby Aver gets pressure from behind again, that outside containment, he's rushed. He throws the ball right on the money, but the timing was not there. As you can see, Randy Laus goes up in the air, and he must come down with 1 foot in bounds, and he does not, so it's an incompletion.
On 4th down, Leo Clement is in to punt once again. Gets off a wobbly end-over-end kick. Renfro has it at about the 18-yard line, trying to get to the outside. Gains practically nothing on the return as number 24, Larry Robinson, the freshman from Natchitoches, was down there to cover Renfro on the return. 12 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the second quarter after the punt of 31 yards. Will return.
Introducing an important step ahead, Chevy's new Special Economy truck. Compared to Toyota's 1980 small-size pickup, Chevy's full-size pickup has more load space. Chevy has a roomier cab. But surprisingly, Chevy has the same EPA mileage estimate as Toyota with an even better highway rating. And with its larger gas tank, Chevy goes farther between fill-ups. More load space, roomier cab, equal mileage, longer range. Amazing. Chevy trucks, an important step ahead.
Arriva, an all-season radio for the 80s. Even its footprint tells you it's different. Today, you need a tire that gives you fuel economy and all-season performance, wet, dry traction, and long tread life, hydroplaning resistance, and dry road stability. Arriva, even its footprint tells you it's different. Only from Goodyear. Goodyear, quality and innovation.
The membership of the National Federation of State High School Associations coordinates interscholastic activities programs for 20,000 schools. Millions of boys and girls are educated and entertained by the program. They are the other half of education.
1st and 10, Northeast. Holman fires over the middle, and it's complete. Out to the 34-yard line for an excellent pickup on 1st down from deep in your own territory. Robert Newman, the tight end, making the reception, and he wants to come out as he may have been shaken up on the play. Darrell Toussaint made the defensive hit. A gain of 17 yards, and Newman is shaken up as the trainers are attending to him immediately. 17 yards and a 1st down. Northeast at their own 34.
Most of those tight end routes go into traffic, and he gets blindsided. He caught that drag pattern across the middle. John Holman really laid it right on the numbers, but Robert Newman paid a price.
Vernon Mills is in replacing Newman at tight end. On 1st and 10. On the reverse, Bobby Lewis, the wide receiver, running to the far sideline and in big trouble. He does pick up a couple of yards, however, getting it all on his own as Northwestern had that defense very, very effectively. Darrell Toussaint smelling it out first.
This is the toss sweep and then a reverse to the flanker back coming back. But the defenders, the Demons, had a pressure stunt, and look how deep he drove the runner back and threw him way off his timing. Now he has to fight for his life just to get back to the line of scrimmage. So I think the defense was not set up so much for that play, but the penetration just ruined the timing on it, and he has to scramble for all his life just to get her back in there.
David Bigley, a sophomore nose guard from Bryan, Texas, with the pressure for Northwestern. The gain of 3 makes it 2nd down and 7. Holman firing complete to the tight end, number 7, Vernon Mills, who may have picked up enough yardage for the 1st down near the 45-yard line of Northeast. 32, Spencer Mullett ran him out of bounds.
That was extremely well executed play. The timing passes, a 5-step drop by John Holman, and Vernon Mills ran a precision, disciplined route, and that's what they worked on. John David loves those kind of spot passes. John Holman, number 14, drops back, plants, throws the ball with excellent timing. Vernon Mills is right there for the sideline pattern.
On 1st down, Theodis Moore crosses midfield, running hard, picking up 7 or 8 yards into Northwestern territory. Very near the 46-yard line of Northwestern State. They mark it at the 47. It'll be a gain of 8. 2nd down and 2. Number 65, Tim Jordan, a sophomore from Sicily Island, Louisiana, made the play.
Steve, I think you can see the offensive theory in action. When the passing game is gone, John David Crow likes to counter with the quick hitters in the running game, and they do complement each other very nicely, and they're moving the ball much more consistently when they're hitting those spot passes.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. Northeast trailing Northwestern 7-0 here in the second quarter. Bowman firing it incomplete, intended for Nathan Johnson out of the backfield. And Johnson was hit immediately, separated from the football by number 56, Mike Camden, the fine sophomore linebacker from Shreveport.
The Indians had 4 receivers out in one big wide zone that time. They had a triple set with 3 wide receivers, and then Johnson came out of the backfield, and they tried a crossing pattern, but the defenders weren't fooled. They just held still. They were not locked on. They just played their zones with a lot of discipline.
Northeast now facing a 3rd down and 2. And Mike Camden once again for the Northwestern State defense. 1st and 10, Northeast, as they mark the ball at the 44.
It's just a short yardage fullback slant. Fieldus hits the off-tackle hole, gets good blocking pattern there as Johnson blocked for him. The number 56, Mike Camden, who is perhaps the best tackler among the linebackers for the Demons, pulled him down. He needed some help, though, to stop him from gaining the necessary yardage for a 1st down.
That's the 8th first down this afternoon for Northeast. Northwestern has 7.
We got more.
Bowman throwing back to the far sideline to tag Roman, complete for another 1st down at the line of Northwestern. Rome dragging those feet inbounds. Spencer Mallett was there but could not prevent the 1st down reception.
Boy, that was a class performance there by number 4, Tag Rome. We have a play fake to the left. He plants and throws back as John Holman hits that sideliner right on the money. That ball is really humming in. Watch this dragging the foot routine, just like the big guys do.
That's Rome's 4th catch for 43 yards as you look at Anthony going split out to the far side. Gain of 11 yards on the play, again on 1st and 10. Holman completes another one over the middle to number 80, Robert Newman, the tight end, covered immediately by David Hennigan, number 45. Short of a 1st down, but a good 1st down pickup of perhaps 8.
Robert Newman running the play flipped over from left to right that he was slightly injured on before. He comes right back into the fray, and he gets stuck again, but this time he holds on. They're really mixing up the passes very nicely, hitting the short zone over the middle, hitting the sideline routes, and that zone is being spread very thinly.
John Holman has now completed 8 of 14 passes for 101 yards. 2nd down, 3 yards to go. Nathan Johnson breaking into the secondary and getting inside the 15-yard line, down to perhaps the 13. Darrell Toussaint, number 21, Larry Robinson, number 24, David Hennigan, number 45, all contributing to the tackle.
And then John Holman is really controlling those defensive linebackers with his spot passes. He's got them on their heels. Now he hits them with a power slant off tackle with his best running back, number 43, Nathan Johnson. They are really threatening the Demons' goal line now, Steve.
Terry Berkman, number 46, also on the stop with Nathan Johnson, who is beginning to break loose here in the 2nd quarter. He's been contained to this point somewhat. 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. Northeast with the football. They trail Northwestern State 7-0. Again, Nathan Johnson. Johnson at the 11-yard line. The Northwestern State defense really rising to the occasion as they got a lot of people to the football that time.
The thing that the Indians tried to do then was to have a strong formation set to the wide side of the field, and they tried a quick count before the Demons could get over there. But the linebackers are very alertly, Camden in particular, moved right over, and he was right there waiting for that slant around the end.
Johnson coming out of the ball game now. 2nd down, 8 yards to go, following the gain of 2. Into the ballgame at tailback, Bobby Craighead, number 24, a freshman from right here in Monroe, Louisiana. Theodis Moore is still the fullback in front of him as Craighead goes in motion. The pass to Craighead is a 5, touchdown, Northeast. Craighead, who went in motion, caught the ball at about the 5-yard line and took it in untouched for the Northeast touchdown to make it 7-6 in favor of Northwestern State. Bubba Toops is on to attempt the extra point to tie the football game up. It's good. An 83-yard scoring drive in 11 plays culminating on this touchdown pass to Bobby Craighead. And with 7:34 remaining in the 1st half, it's 7-7.
Oh, Mr. Goodrich, can I get a tune-up?
Sure can.
What's that?
Your written estimate.
Mr. Goodwrench wants you to know in advance just about how much the job will cost. He has the GM training and tools available to do the job right.
Gee, that's reasonable.
Mr. Goodwrench knows our customers don't like surprises.
Keep that great GMP.
Where Mr. Goodwrench works.
With genuine GM parts.
Panasonic calls this VHS recorder Omnivision. I call it Regivision because it tapes 6 hours of me off the air, even when I'm on the road. It also has stop action. And when I don't like what's on TV, I make my own with my Panasonic sound camera. And then there's always something great on TV.
Panasonic 6-hour Omnivision.
Regivision.
Omnivision.
Baseball's best, the American National League Championship Series, beginning Tuesday on ABC.
Well, we had a very interesting play. Of course, Bobby Craighead scored for the Indians, and John Holman comes off the center and roll left toward a triple set out here, and he has 4 receivers again. He's stuck in this wide side of the field, and Bobby Craighead, who just came into the ballgame, swings out in the flat, and that confusion created by multiple formations worked for 7 points for the Indians.
And now, Bubba Toops is set to kick off as you look at the scoring drive. 83 yards in 11 plays. And almost 5 minutes exactly run off on the clock by Northeast. Mark Duper, number 28, is the center deep receiver on the kickoff for Northwestern. As Toops bangs it in and out of the end zone for a touchback. And we'll bring it out to the 20 where Northwestern will go on offense first and 10. 7 minutes, 34 seconds remaining in the first half of play. We're now tied at 7-7 in a game that has really been fairly even up to this point, statistically as well as on the scoreboard.
Yes, it has. I think that the early going, because the Demons fast-paced it, they got a quick advantage, but now it's settled down. I think we're going to see a very consistent performance by both offensive teams.
Bobby Hebert still in at quarterback for Northwestern State. Finister and Delaney in the backfield behind him. The pitch to Delaney. And Delaney is dragged down from behind, very near the line of scrimmage. An excellent defensive play by Roosevelt Strutter, number 45, who played the run to his corner very, very well.
Got some good scores for you. Alabama, of course, number 1 in the nation, 3-0. UCLA, 3-0, another ABC Sports presentation regionally. Florida State, Nebraska, 0-0. I don't know how long they played, but Nebraska's favorite, of course. Pittsburgh, another top team. Over Maryland, another good football team.
On 2nd down and 10, following the no-gain carry by Delaney. Finister. And Carlton Finister gets nowhere, perhaps 2 yards, as the Northeast defense is now really fired up following that scoring drive put on by their offensive unit to tie the football game. Finister picks up 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Northwestern State at their own 22.
There's a little surprise. Michigan State 9-6 over Notre Dame at halftime. Notre Dame highly favored over a Michigan State team that's kind of been stumbling early in the season.
Northwestern now facing a big 3rd down and 8 situation at their own 22. Under pressure, fires it incomplete, intended for number 84, Doug Manning, on the far sideline. Manning looked as if Benny might have tried to one-hand that football.
Yes, he should have caught that football. It was right on the money. The timing was good. Doug Manning came away, number 84, from his tight end position, just ran a little corner route. He was wide open. He was hit by Bobby Hebert. Hebert hit him right in the hands. It's a weak spot for some people, you know.
It always was for me.
Yes, I know that. I didn't say it. You did.
Mitch Renfro, number 26, is back as Leo Clement will punt it away from about his own 13-yard line, and he gets a good one this time. Renfro going back to the 24. At the 35, tripped up just barely, or he might have broken it for a longer return, as Clement may have outkicked his coverage a little bit. Larry Robinson made the tackle. 5:58 remaining in the first half of play. We're tied at 7, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Recently, I had troubles with my most trusted employee, me. I was spending too much time getting out mailings, presentations, invoices. I wasn't pulling my weight, so I did what I had to do. I replaced me with a Xerox small copier. It makes copies right on my letterhead, and mailing labels, and even copies bills like this, and it works for a lot less than I did. I should have fired me years ago.
Right.
Be more productive. Call Xerox.
Now comes Miller time. The flag is dropped, the race is a memory. And now you're coasting into the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
On ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic gold medalists and world-class figure skaters, the World Lumberjacks Championships, and a report on the Holmes LE WBC heavyweight bout today.
Leo Clement with a punt of 54 yards. Mitch Renfro with a 12-yard return. 10 Northeast. The Indians on the 35-yard line.
These punters are kind of confused. Win here sometimes, no matter from where they're kicking it, it's in their face, and kind of got the tailwind behind him, where, as before, he'd been kicking against it from the same end of the football field.
He got his foot into it that time, however. He had a 52-yarder earlier, and now a 54-yarder. So Leo is coming quite well. He came in averaging just under 5 per punt. Not bad field position, however, for Northeast. At their own 35 with 5:58 remaining in the first half. 7-7. John Holman firing over the middle, and it's complete. And in Robert Newman is hit immediately by Darrell Tucson and may be shaken up once again.
And he's surely taking his lumps. He's running those dangerous patterns as Holman comes off a good fake, and it's a throwback routine, which gets going the wrong direction. He comes underneath that coverage, and he catches the ball nicely. Well thrown, but he gets nailed. He's just going to try to go north and south on the football field, but he takes a good shot, and those add up, you know, but he's a very courageous young man. He'll be all right.
Newman, 190-pound senior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with his third reception of the afternoon for 43 yards, a gain of 18 yards on the play, as you see Newman being attended to by the Northeast Louisiana training staff, and a very concerned football coach as well.
I think the significant thing is I don't think very badly just got shaken up, but he held on to the football.
Yes, he did. He may have had the wind knocked out of him. We'll hope so, and we'll get a report for you hopefully as soon as we can. A reminder, tomorrow, college football 1980 listings for the area. With host Bill Fleming, you'll see highlights games, UCLA at Ohio State, one of our other regional games this afternoon. Also Kentucky at Alabama, Louisiana State at Florida, the Big Eastern games in Pittsburgh, Penn State at Missouri, and California at Michigan. All tomorrow on College Football 80. Highlights of those. Be sure again to check the local listings in your time for the station and time in your area. Robert Newman leaving the field under his own power at least. And as we said, we'll get a report for you as soon as we can. On second down, rather on 1st and 10. Again, it's complete over the middle to Alfred Kenny. Sophomore wide receiver is down deep into Northwestern territory, inside the 25-yard line, or right at the 25 as they mark it there. Greg Williams making the defensive hit for Northwestern.
All those split ends, the Tag Rome and Larry Hamilton, now Alfred Kinney, they are duplicates. They run great patterns, have good hands and quickness. That time, number 14, John Holman had all day. His line really protected him. He read that pattern. He looked it all over, and he found the open man in Alfred Kinney.
A gain of 22 yards, another consecutive first down play for Northeast. Number 21, Dwayne Robinson, the ball carrier. Robinson picking up short yardage. Down to perhaps the 24, 23.5-yard line. They mark it right at the 24 for a gain of 1 yard on the play. Number 75, Freeman Thomas, freshman nose guard from Natchitoches, Louisiana, made the tackle. And Mr. 21, Dwayne Robinson, needs a new number 21.
Sure does. Can't play with the torn jersey in college football. Of course, the pros, they don't wear those tearaways at all, so they don't lose any time doing it.
More number 33 is back in. As you look at John Holman and his stats so far this afternoon, they are impressive. Northeast has their passing attack moving, and Holman evades the pressure and puts it up again. Into the end zone, almost intercepted, but Tag Rome was able to get there and knock it away from Darrell Toussaint, number 21, who had excellent coverage on him in the end zone.
Yeah, there's a little fool on the play fake. John Holman comes back, he plants, now he's under pressure. They had the blitz on, he plants, he throws a little off balance. This was not a well-thrown pass, but Tag Rome, number 4, does a great job of preventing the interception. He's not really trying to catch that ball so much as he does that ball.
On 3rd yards to... Holman had had 5 consecutive before that incompleted pass. This time he swings it out of the backfield to Nathan Johnson. Johnson at the 15, inside the 10, down to the 4-yard line. Finally hauled down by Tommy Rushing, number 42 in the secondary, as Nathan Johnson turned a routine play into a very exciting one on just his own raw running ability.
John Holman really executed the quick screen this time. He set up the fake. Nathan Johnson times it well. He forms behind that screen. He gets a real good blocking pattern downfield, and he really likes to hit. He's looking for somebody to run into about now, and he spins off him. He's driving, keeps his balance, trying to get into that end zone. They're really threatening now. The Indians want this ball game.
A gain of 19 yards gives Northeast a 1st and goal. Holman into the end zone, too long. Overthrown, intended for Bobby Lewis, the wide receiver. Tommy Rushing was defending on the play once again for Northwestern. It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 5. 4 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the first half. We're tied 7-7, and Northeast Louisiana is threatening to break that tie right now.
One added factor, Steve, they're thrown right into the sun corner there. That sun is coming right into that corner. Very difficult. That receiver running right away from it to pick up that ball in flight.
John David Pro, the head coach, looking on. 2nd and goal. Johnson down to perhaps the 1 or 2 yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal. Just at the 1 yard line, and that timeout has been called by Northeast Louisiana. As we look at the play again.
Johnson on the off-tackle slant, and he turns it upfield when the defense comes up to penetrate from the outside. He's putting on quite a performance. He's a tough runner, and he's a good guy to call on down near the goal line.
Northeast has called a timeout with 3 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the half. A reminder, Pennant Fever on ABC, the National League champions will both be on ABC beginning Tuesday, October 7th, with the National League playoffs at the National League East City, 7 o'clock Central Time. American and National League Championship Series playoff action. Pennant Fever on ABC beginning Tuesday, October 7th, over most of these ABC stations.
I think it was significant that the Indians called a timeout here because it's a critical play. They got a 3rd down up on any signals, and they want to make sure they have their game under control. So they took, I think, wisely so.
It is 3rd down, goal to go. They are on the 1 yard line. We are tied 7-7. Plenty of time remaining even in the half. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Nathan Johnson stopped short of the goal line. The Northwestern State defense, throwing white-shirted defenders, stopped Johnson for practically no gain.
Are we going to kick it, or are we going to go for 7?
David Hennigan, number 45, was and perhaps made the first contact on Johnson, stopping him for no gain again. Northeast calls the timeout. Now with 3:33 remaining in the half, John Holman will come over once again to the coaching staff and John David Crow.
Critical, and it takes a little time to do the right thing here. They've got pretty much a chip shot for a field goal, and it looks like that's what they want to do. Figure it out now.
Nope. And you look at the stats passing, and you can see what a great afternoon John Holman is having for Northeast with 171 yards, and we are not even to the end of the first half as yet. Bubba Toops, the senior from Pascagoula, Mississippi, is on to attempt a field goal. He has marked it at about the 8 yard line. It'll make it an 18-yard attempt. Robin Wasson, number 13, will do the holding. And the officials tell them they must take the full time if they're going to call a timeout. And it has not expired as yet.
That's right. For the benefit of their opponents, if for no other reason.
Bubba Toops, as you see, setting a school record last week, kicking 3 field goals. He is 3 of 5 on the year. He had not made a field goal attempt until last week's game. This is an 18-yarder into a little bit of a wind. And he drills it. And so with 3 seconds remaining, and Northeast has taken a 10-7 lead over Northwestern State. A reminder that next over most of these ABC stations at 4 o'clock Central Time, ABC's Wide World of Sports. World Figure Skating Championships from Dortmund, West Germany. Special performances by the world champions, Linda Frontiani and Charles Tickner. In addition, the World Lumberjack Championships from Hayward, Wisconsin. as rugged lumberjack giants axe their way to the top. A lot of exciting lumberjack championships as well as the World Figure Skating Championships next on ABC, plus a post-fight report on the Holmes-Ali Heavyweight Championship fight. That's next. Wide World of Sports over most of these ABC stations at 4 Central Time. Bubba Toops, who kicked the field goal to put Northeast out in front, now picking up the ball, getting set to kick off for Northeast. And the Northwestern State Demons will get the football back with 3.5 minutes remaining, and a bit of a breeze blowing at their back, if not across the field, but aiding them more than hurting them. Toops has now kicked 4 consecutive field goals as the wind blew the ball off the tee to tie a school record. Cooper, the return man from Moroville, Louisiana. And now Bubba's ready to hit it, and Cooper takes it at the 3, fumbles it, behind the handle for a moment, and is big trouble. They knock him back into the end zone, but it will not be a safety as the officials mark it at just outside the 1-yard line. The momentum of the team or the defending team, so it is not a safety. Northwestern is, however, on 1.
I was saying the wind is blowing at his back and it's swirling, and he's looking right into the sun. He didn't have his shades on that time. He couldn't find the handle on it. And now in his anxiety to pick it up, he doesn't even do that. He's looking away from it. Can't find the handle. Now he's driven back by the red shirts. Their momentum pushed him into the end zone.
1st and 10 as they just try to jam it out. Hebert gets it to about the 5-yard line as he just waded his way through defenders and picked up 4 yards. 4 very difficult yards.
This could be a very, very critical series. As you know, it's in the first half. They can't afford to give up the ball in minus.
Especially since they just lost the lead. After leading 7-0, they now trail 10-7. Very close to a first down, but perhaps short of it, excuse me, is Delaney, who gets it out to the 11-yard line. 77 Stanford McNair, 72 Ricky Isaac, combining for the tackle for the Northeast defense. It'll be 3rd down, about 1 yard to go. So far, Northwestern State doing a good job on 1.
Yeah, they give it to the guy, 44, Joe Delaney. He's already got 77 yards. There's the Indians drive, 9 plays, 6. Took him 2.5 minutes to do it, and then Toops kicked that 18-yard field goal to put the Indians ahead 10-7. It's really a tightly contested football game. Really love it.
Out the chains out, as you could see, and they did make enough for the first down. As Delaney appeared to be a little bit short, they called for the measurement wisely and found out they did have enough yardage. So it is 1st and 10, Northwestern State operating from just outside their own 11. Bobby Hebert, cut off Louisiana. Ball to Delaney. And Delaney gets about 4 yards out to the 15-yard line. Tripped up by 72 Ricky Isaac, the senior from their fine defensive tackle.
That time Delaney ran out of that half eye that we were talking about. The eye have a fullback in front of him. The fullback steps over Ministers lead side, and they get that toss sweep. 2 yards already for Joe Delaney. What a workhorse.
2nd down, 6 yards to go as Delaney comes to this side. Getting some defensive pressure and finally is dragged down by Steve Isaac, Ricky's brother, who made the previous play. 23 Steve Isaac playing off the block to make a good tackle.
This is what they call the same play the other way. He tossed around the left end to begin with, and this time he comes back. Bobby Hebert pitches it to number 44, Joe Delaney. But the pursuit is there. That's one thing that the Indians have done. They've adjusted to the speed at the flank, and the defenders are right there waiting for Joe Delaney.
Third down, 4 yards to go. Delaney running for the other side. Called down by the pursuit again. Ricky Sanders, a sophomore from West Monroe, coming to the inside and catching Delaney down short of the first down.
Demons went a little bit conservative. I think that's the right thing to go with less than a minute left in the half. They don't want to turn it over in minus territory. And now they hope for a good punt and hold on and win at half, only down by 3.
Leo Clement into punt. His longest, 54 yards. His last one, a beauty. Mitch Renfro, number 26, is again back deep to receive. This one angling for the far sideline goes out of bounds near midfield, still in Northwestern territory. Not a good kick as they mark it at the 46-yard line of Northwestern. And with 44 seconds remaining in the half, on a punt of only 28 yards, Northeast will again have good field position, if not much time to work with. A.L. Williams, the Northwestern State coach, facing the sidelines.
He's concerned about this out there on defense. 7 out of 11 sophomores, and they could be under a great deal of pressure right here with less than a minute to go.
Especially the way John Holman has been throwing the football so far. Renfro coming through the formation in motion as Holman fires it to Kenny, incomplete. Alfred Kenny had to go right through his hands as he was sliding in receiver position on the left side. Down to 40 seconds remaining in the half. Terry Bertrand, number 46, was covering on the play. As you look at Chief Brave Spirit of the Northeast Indians.
Custom built that costume in Disneyland.
And I put him on the bench.
That's what they say.
It looks like it. On 2nd and 10. Bowman evading the rush. Brings it down and finally is brought down. The line of scrimmage. May have lost a foot or two. That time his receivers were covered and Northwestern came up with good pressure. 92 Sam Jenkins, a sophomore from Lake Charles, making the play for the Demon defense.
Did what his coach told us he would do. He would not throw unpressured. He's going to pull it down and take you somewhere. He did the smart thing there by keeping the football.
8 seconds now as this will be the final play of the first half. Coleman buried and sacked. Again, it's number 92, Sam Jenkins, in to make the defensive play. Time runs out at the end of the first half. We'll be back with our activities. The score, Northeast Louisiana 10, Northwestern State 7. We'll return after this message about an upcoming show here on ABC, and of course a word from our local station.
Sunday on those amazing animals. Find out if America's wild horses will survive. Learn how to live with death. And a scientist and the chimp she saved. Then, at a special time, there's never been a movie like Jaws. This was no boat accident. The fear, the shock, the heart-stopping action. Shoot! And a movie with the power of Jaws.
Tomorrow, starting at 7, 6 Central and Mountain on ABC.
Geneva's, making your world brighter for less every day with quality diamond solitaires and wedding bands. A most effective way to express lasting love forever. That any diamond is one of the most important jewelry purchases you will ever make. Quality and price become of equal importance. And offering the best quality at the best price is another way Geneva's is making your world brighter for less every day.
Geneva's in Monroe.
Where can you find a products resource? Right here, equipment. They're a total office products resource in terms of office machines, office furniture, office accessories, cars, service. So if you need a paper clip, copier, think of Monroe Office Equipment as your total products resource.
KTVE Channel 10, El Dorado, Monroe.
The North University Band performing here at halftime under the direction of Dr. V. Kenneth Caldwell, Director of Bands at Northwestern State. And they're performing That's Entertainment to open their halftime show. stays to Natchitoches, Louisiana, and take a look at the campus of Northwestern State University.
Northwestern State University, approaching its 100th anniversary, its rich heritage, but is also justifiably proud of its vast progress and exciting plans for the future. On the 1,000-acre main campus, students have an opportunity to study a broad range of fields with the latest in equipment and facilities for instruction. With a diverse faculty that emphasizes close student-teacher relationships, Northwestern studies in more than 100 areas of specialization. The newly established institute is helping to develop the potential of the area's newest energy resource. A nursing campus in Shreveport and extensive off-campus academic programs serve the highest education needs of thousands. Located in historic Natchitoches, oldest settlement in the Louisiana Purchase, Northwestern State has more than 25,000 active alumni in roles of leadership and service throughout society.
The Northwestern State Band performing Pinball Wizard from the Rock County, composed by Peter Townsend and the Who. The Northwestern State University Band, as we mentioned, under the direction of Dr. Caldwell, moving into Don't Rain on My Parade. In their portion of the halftime activities here in Monroe, Louisiana. Now let's take a minute to take a look at the Northeast Louisiana University right here in Monroe, the site of this football game. Here's a look at the Northeast campus.
Northeast Louisiana University, located in Monroe, enters its 50th year of providing educational opportunity, solving today's and tomorrow's problems through research and offering services to the community. The university blends the finest characteristics of the institution. More than 10,000 students from every parish in Louisiana, 40 other states, and over 24 foreign countries. Undergraduate and graduate programs are provided through the colleges of business, pharmacy and health profession, education, arts, and sciences. The university operates a coal analysis laboratory. Other significant research is being conducted into bladder cancer and heart disease. space exploration, and the culture and history of the area. Services for the community, including soil and plant analysis for Louisiana farmers. Northeast Louisiana University, meeting the challenges given to it by the people of Louisiana.
Back here at halftime, as Northwestern State has concluded their portion of the halftime entertainment, we're ready now for the Northeast Louisiana University Band and the Northeast Louisiana University War Bonnets. And if you haven't seen the War Bonnets, we're told you're in for a treat under the direction of Pam Stewart, who's a former member of the group. These young ladies really put on quite a show, and there are some of them there. They're led not only by their director, Pam Stewart, but also by captains on the field. Tammy Reagan is the captain, and Pam Curry and Suzette Boozer and Denise Westbrook are co-captains of the War Bonnets. The Northeast Louisiana University Band and the War Bonnets performing Donna Summer's hit, Dim All the Lights. The 44 War Bonnets to the cheers of their hometown crowd. Well, it's time for today's Fireman's Fund Flashback. And today's Fireman's Fund Flashback, as always, is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent near you. As you know, John David Crow is the head football coach here at Northeast Louisiana University. And as you may also know, he had an outstanding football career. First at Texas A&M. Then with the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's Ben Martin to tell you about it.
John David Crow was a great football player during his college days at Texas A&M under the legendary coach Paul Bear Bryant, where in 1957 John David won the Heisman Trophy for being the most outstanding college football player in America. And this action shows John David as a St. Louis Cardinal during his rookie year in the NFL. He takes the pass back from the quarterback, and he's going to throw the option pass to Sonny Randall, downfield, number 86, who breaks it for another long gain as the Cardinals are moving the ball against the Washington Redskins. And John David had power. He could run the inside plays and the off-tackle slants as he does here against that tough goal line defense, but he's going to get in there. He's determined to get the ball into that end zone against the Redskins. Once again, it's going to be the halfback option pass. As he comes out, sets, he has to scramble. And this shows you a great deal about the player, John David Crow, as he has a determination to do it. And I recently had an opportunity to talk to Coach John David Crow. John David, most ex-football players who become football coaches have been influenced by their own coach. And you played for the legendary Bear Bryant. And how did he influence your philosophy of the game of football?
Well, I think that he coaches to influence your life, period. And that's something that we all try to compare, I think, in coaching is football with a game of life. And Of course, he's the master at it, and I can't say that I try to be like him. I'm sure that I hope that I picked up some of his traits, but I hope that it's me instead of trying to be like him. I hope that he has just taught me so well that I understand and believe in a lot of things that he believes in.
And John, a lot of coaches feel that the players of the 80s are quite different from those of the 50s when you and I played. And how do you adapt your philosophy to taking care of these young men today?
Well, Coach, you know that when we were playing, you didn't ask too many questions. Now they ask a lot of questions. We have to communicate with them so much more than I feel like the coaches communicated with us when we were playing. Plus the fact that they're a heck of a lot better football players now, a heck of a lot better athletes than in 1950s, and I'm just proud that I came along in the 50s.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, too, and to see your great facility and see the program you developed, John David, and thank you for being with us on ABC Sports.
Thank you.
You know, for business insurance, Fireman's Fund fits most everyone, large or small. For example, it helps cover a business as huge as Ralston Purina or as small as Beckman Turf and Irrigation, Anheuser-Busch, or Fantas's Restaurant, even the Chicago Cubs. So for your business insurance, ask your independent agent about Fireman's Fund. Large or small, this hat is just your size. In the yellow pages, Fireman's Fund Insurance Companies. Dwight Eisenhower. He played football at West Point. Commanded Allied forces in Europe during World War II. 34th President of the United States. Byron Whizzer White. He was Colorado's first All-America, a Deputy Attorney General of the United States. He is a Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Bill Cosby. He was a football and track star at Temple. Is a world-famous actor and comedian. He is also a Ph.D. Bill Bradley. He was an All-America at Princeton, a Rhodes Scholar, a professional basketball star. He is the junior senator from the state of New Jersey. Today, cheers still echoing around them, America's future leaders continue the tradition. On college playing fields across the nation, young student athletes are preparing for that next great step. Tomorrow's leaders today. This is the NCAA.
The preceding message has been provided by the NCAA.
The Northeast Louisiana University Band, the sound of today, performing Temptation as a part of their halftime show here in Monroe this afternoon. Here's a look at the halftime statistics, Ben, and Northeast Louisiana really in that second quarter jumped out in front.
They certainly did. After that first onslaught by Northwestern State, they came back and they dominated 232 to 150 in total yardage and 171 passing for the Northeast. And they had, in the past, only had 185 yards per game, and now they have 171 at halftime. So that's very significant to me, Steve.
And, of course, Northeast coming on with an 18-yard field goal with 3:30 left in the half to take a 10-7 lead on Bubba Toop's 18-yard field goal. We remind you that the Northwestern State at Northeastern Louisiana game is being brought to you by Texaco, with over 66,000 employees doing their best at their jobs to keep your trust. By Chevrolet and your Chevy dealer with Chevette, Monza, Citation, and the new Monte Carlo, Chevy's up ahead for 1981. By IBM, helping to put information to work for people. And by Mattel Electronics, makers of Football 2. When you want real football challenge, you want Football 2 from Mattel Electronics. We'll return in just a minute.
You know, I love the fresh, clean smell of barley because I can almost taste the Schlitz beer I'm going to make from it. I'm Frank Sellinger. Recently, I came to Schlitz as chief executive. Mostly, I check on the business end. But after 40 years as a master brewer, I check the barley, too, and the other fine grains to make a really smooth beer. Taste my Schlitz.
I just discovered oil.
Louise, we just discovered oil.
What?
People are discovering Texaco's Haviland Supreme, the motor oil with a special friction fighter that's been proven in fuel economy tests. Extensive tests showed that 2 of the leading 10W40 motor oils advertising extra gasoline mileage couldn't beat Haviland Supreme. And you still get Haviland's Trooper-tested engine protection, too. Discover Haviland Supreme. Protection plus unbeaten mileage.
Chevy Citation. We said it was a whole new kind of compact car, and we proved it. We put Citation to work with its front-wheel drive, room for 5, outstanding storage space, and impressive mileage. And now is the best-selling front-wheel drive car in America, with Motor Trend's Car of the Year award, 500,000 owners, and 6 billion miles. There's no doubt about it.
Chevy Citation.
It works.
Steve Zabriskie along with Ben Martin as we're just about ready to begin the second half of play here at Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, with Northeast leading Northwestern 10-7. Boston College and Navy no score in the second quarter.
Yeah, two good Eastern teams in Harvard and Army. Army surprising this year by scoring. Air Force and Yale, that's my old team, 10-10 against the first Ivy League opponent they've ever played. And Brown over Princeton 21-3 at halftime. Princeton a little bit down now. Brown bouncing back from a rocky start. Michigan coming back to form over California. California, a great passing team, but they have been unable to defend. Indiana, Lee Corso's group right in there. Miami, Ohio, and Purdue tied. That's a long-time in-state rivalry. Mississippi State down by 1 to Illinois. That's a little bit of a surprise. Illinois has not been able to score very much. Louisiana State, local favorite here. 10-0 over a great Florida team. Southern Mississippi and Ole Miss 0-0 in the first quarter. Auburn, another local favorite, 7-2 over Richmond first quarter. Oh, look at North Carolina Tar Heels laying on Georgia Tech, 33-0. Clemson over Virginia Tech, 10-7 in the third quarter. That's about according to form. Wake Forest and Bill and Mary tied 7-7.
You're on a first-name basis with Bill and Mary.
Yeah, Virginia, another one of my old schools, 21-9 over there. Alcorn State, South Carolina State, 17-0. That's one of our games, isn't it, Steve?
I think so,
yeah.
Here it is 10-7, as we mentioned. Northeast leading Northwestern. Joe Delaney got Northwestern off to a 7-0 lead on a 1-yard run with 12:06 remaining in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter was all Northeast. Bobby Craighead, an 11-yard pass from John Holman, tied it at 7-7 on Bubba Tube's extra point. And then Bubba Tube's kicked an 18-yard field goal with 3:30 left in the half to make it 10-7 in favor of Northeast. And that's where we are as we begin the third quarter of play. Leo Clement getting set to kick off for Northwestern. Alfred Kinney, number 2, and Nathan Johnson, number 43, are back deep to receive for Northeast Louisiana. Leo Clement hitting it into a little bit of a wind. A nice high kick and deep. Kinney takes it 3 yards deep in the end zone, thinks about it, and then decides not to run it out. The touchback will make it 1st and 10. Northeast Louisiana at their own 20-yard line as they lead 10-7.
Steve, in the first half, right on schedule, John Holman, the quarterback for Northeast Louisiana, threw 21 passes. That's on his way to about 40 if he keeps that up. And on the other side of the line, of course, Joe Delaney ran 18 plays from scrimmage. That's way ahead of his schedule. But he said he'd go about 30.
Johnson, the ball carrier, with a nice hole on a trap play, gets across the 30-yard line, picks up a first down on the first play of the third quarter. An 11-yard gain to the 31, and we'll make it 1st and 10 Northeast. 21, Darrell Toussaint, the safety man, a senior from Opelousas, had to make the tackle.
We had the quick trap play that time. 64, the guard pulling, making good trap block, giving a lot of room for 43, Nathan Johnson, to run in there. Good line spacing puts those trappers in good position to execute the block.
Mark Lyons, number 64, a junior from Houston, made the offensive trap block to spring Johnson loose for a first down. Bowman wants to put it up again. Hits Johnson out of the backfield, but Johnson cannot hang on at the 30. It's incomplete. Covered by number 81, David Grepp. It'll be 2nd down and 10, still from the 31.
He had number 18, Bobby Lewis, came over from his flanker position underneath the coverage there, and it was wide open on the opposite side of the field, but of course John Holman didn't have time to pick him up, but he could have gotten away for a long gain.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. Johnson and Fiotis more in the backfield as Holman drops straight back. Now going to run it, gets to the 35, and that's all. He's wrapped up by number 60, Mike Ford, the nose guard, who slid off to make the tackle along with 45, David Hennigan, as you look at some impressive stats on the part of John Holman so far today.
Yes, indeed. As I said, he's averaged 185 yards a game passing and about 31 attempts. He's way ahead of that schedule now. If he keeps up his efficiency, he'll keep his team right in this ballgame.
John David Crow, the head coach at Northeast, on the sideline. If you were with us at halftime, you saw Ben Martin's flashback and an interview with John David about his career and his new career as a head football coach. On third down, Johnson at the 40, very close to a first down. He needed to get to the 41-yard line. They are marking it right at the 41. It may be close enough for a measurement.
This is Johnny Holman, number 14, on the speed sweep. 43, Nathan Johnson, just a flat back, lays his ears back and runs around the corner. Has a good blocking pattern. Now he leaps over some bodies there. He's trying to get that first down, and I don't know if he made it or not. It's very, very close. He tried to get it. It looks like from here he probably made it by the edge of that football.
They're bringing the chains all the way across the field. Referee George White signaling for the chain gang, and it is on up for a Northeast first down. That is their 16th first down of the afternoon.
You recall the beginning of the first half, Steve, but the Demons came out and fast-paced the Indians, and now I think that the shoe was turned around a little bit here, and the Indians are trying to run those ends against them and loose those linebackers up for that passing offense.
Northwestern State went 83 yards on their opening possession, and if you look at the difference in first downs to take a 7-0 lead. Since then, Northeast has taken control of the football game. Here it is 1st and 10 from their own 41. Holman on a short drop, pitches it complete to Tag Rome, number 4, in the Northwestern territory at the 47-yard line. Number 21, Darrell Toussaint, who's been very busy in the Northwestern secondary, made the hit.
John Holman does a short drop, plant throws with a lot of authority, and number 4, Tag Rome, who's split out very wide, just runs into the open spot in that zone. He makes a leaping catch. He's really a sure-fingered guy. Look at how he's reckless with his body, too, for a little guy.
Gain of 14 yards on the play. Rome's 5th catch as he comes to the sideline for 57 yards. It's another first down for Northeast from the Northwestern State 47. Holman to put it up once again. Firing it long over the middle, incomplete. Intended for number 37, Larry Hamilton, the junior wide receiver from Natchitoches, but overthrown. Again, Darrell Toussaint, number 21, was the Northwestern State defender. It'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Still from the Northwestern 47.
John Holman has been hitting those short and medium range passes very efficiently, but he has yet to connect on the long one.
Take it in! Take it in! Take it in!
On 2nd down and 10. Holman looking for someone open, finally unloads it. It's complete on the far sideline. No, it is incomplete. The intended receiver had the ball for just a moment, but could not hold on. Bobby Lewis, the wide receiver on the far sideline. Sam Jenkins, number 92, was putting the pressure on Holman. As you look at the difference in the yards passing so far.
Yes, and Northwestern State had averaged 285 yards passing per contest. They're way behind where Northeast, the Indians, are ahead of their schedule. So a little bit of a turnaround there in the aerial department.
On 3rd down and 10 yards to go, Northeast at the Northwestern 47. Holman over the middle again and deep. His intended receiver falls down. A penalty marker is down as the ball was almost picked off by Terry Bertrand, number 46. But we may have an interference call as it was thrown at the 30-yard line in the vicinity of where the intended receiver was hit.
A lot of pushing and shoving here as number 14 quarterback John Holman drops back in his normal 7-yard drop, plants. He's looking for people. They're being pushed all over the place. I don't know who was at fault here, but he had two pairs of people just pushing and shoving each other, and so he was unable to complete the pass. Defensive holding might be the call. No, he's interference.
It is interference. And it is marked right at the 30-yard line. It will be another first down for Northeast as they move deeper into Northwestern State territory. And another penalty against Northwestern, a problem they've had to contend with all year. This is their 6th penalty for a total of 64 yards.
They don't want to equal their average of over 100 yards a game, Steve, because that's really the negative approach. But they're locking onto those receivers a lot more tightly than they did in the first half.
It is 1st and 10 at the 30. Johnson threw a good hole on a trap play. Breaking into the secondary with good running room and inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line. Tommy Rushing, number 42, had to make the tackle in the secondary as Johnson rushes 22 yards right up the middle.
And Mark Lyons, number 64, the right guard, made the trap block, giving Nathan Johnson a lot of running room in there. That's controlling the defensive linebackers by that pass offense, and they're on their heels. They quickly go with the quick keys, and Nathan Johnson splits them, and they're really threatening now from the 7.5-yard line.
There you see what Johnson has done so far today. That 22-yard gain didn't hurt his average at all. Again, Johnson, the ball carrier. This time, no gain as he stopped right at the 8-yard line. Breaking through number 42, Tommy Rushing, who's been doing an outstanding job defensively for Northwestern State.
Let's see if John David Crow goes right to the air lanes here and doesn't mess around with wasting downs here inside.
As we just mentioned, Northwestern with their 6th penalty for 64 yards. Northeast with only 2. 3rd down. Northeast is 4 of 8 on their 3rd down conversion. No, it is 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Now penalty markers all over the place. As there was a lot of movement, the only thing that didn't move was the football.
Let's see who did what to whom. They draw an offside, or you just anticipate the count. Whatever, it's costly.
Offside again against Northwestern. From the 8-yard line, they'll move it down to the 4, half the distance to the goal.
Another one of those pesky penalties against the Demons. They just seem to be falling into that trap. Young guys, very anxious, trying to do their very best. This Coach A.L. Williams, he's really been trying to work hard on that. But when you have young players, average age around 20 years, it's very difficult for them to learn except by doing it the wrong way.
2nd down. Goal to goal from the 4. Johnson down close to the 3-yard line. Perhaps picked up a yard, maybe only a half a yard. 95, Greg Williams, a freshman linebacker from Jonesboro, on the tackle.
Now the thought is you have 2 downs to make a touchdown, or you try to get it all in one piece. If you don't, then you kick a field goal. So this play will be very significant.
Third down, goal to goal from the 3-yard line. Bobby Craighead into the game at tailback once again, goes in motion to the left. Coleman throwing it complete for a touchdown. Tag Rome all alone in the end zone for another Northeast touchdown as they fake the same play they scored on earlier when Craighead went in motion and Holman threw to him. This time, he threw to Tag Rome, who was all alone.
John Holman, he runs a little half roll. He's got 4 receivers in that left zone, and one of them's bound to open up, and it's Tag Rome. When you guess, he's really cute. He gets in the open in the seam and makes a touchdown.
Bubba Toops on to attempt the extra point. It is good. 10 minutes, 29 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Northeast has scored on their opening possession of the 3rd quarter to take a 17-7 lead.
Hey, J.D., try Mattel Electronics Football 2, the all-pro version of the #1 electronic football game.
Hey, what's the difference?
Now you can kick off, run back.
Now that's good.
Pass.
That's even better.
Scramble in any direction.
I'm getting clobbered.
The built-in thinking computer defense can even intercept.
Who's in there?
All-pro Football 2.
I said who's in there.
Football 2, one of 9 sports games from the #1 name, Mattel Electronics.
No experience, no job. I could do that job, but who'd give me the chance?
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine.
We don't ask for experience, we give it. You won't read it in a book. You live it. Pick a service, pick a challenge, set yourself apart.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. What a great place. It's a great place to start.
Northeast taking a 17-7 lead on this play.
John Holman, number 14, rolls left. He has 4 receivers over there on the left side, the wide side of the field, and he finds number 4, Tag Rome, who just curled into an open spot, and he's wide open for the 6-pointer.
Chief Brave Spirit and the Northwestern Demon going at it a little bit, as are the two teams. As Mark Cooper is deep to receive the kickoff deep in the end zone, he will not run it out. The touchback will give Northwestern State a 1st and 10 at their own 20.
Steve, I'd rather think that they're going to see a little bit more aerial warfare from the Demons now. They threw very few passes in the possessions they've had, and I think now they realize that they're going to have to go up top to get back in this football game. So let's see what Bobby Hebert does.
1st and 10, Northwestern State from their own 20. Now trailing by 10 points here early in the 3rd quarter. Delaney running off tackle and getting out across the 25. They'll mark it at the 26 for a gain of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Number 35, Gary Hines, a sophomore from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, 200-pound linebacker in on the stop. And Delaney has now carried 19 times for 91 yards.
Hadn't slowed down a bit. They still rely on him. He has to set him up.
There's the Northeast scoring drive, 80 yards and 11 plays. They've been very impressive since the start of the 2nd quarter. Delaney again evading one tackler in the backfield and picking up a couple of yards to the 28-yard line. Number 77, Stanford McNair, had a chance to grab him for a loss, but Delaney got away.
Settled down to a little bit of a pattern. Maybe they're trying to get a little breathing room by getting outside the 30-yard line and get this 1st down, and then I think we should see them go to the air lane.
It's 3rd down and 2 yards to go. Delaney again. He's got the 1st down as he dives to the 33-yard line, a pickup of 5. It'll be 1st and 10 for Northwestern State. Stanford McNair, number 77, made the tackle.
Just a basic slant off tackle out of the I formation with their best ball carrier, Joe Delaney, number 44. He's just thinking 1st down now. He dives to make sure that he gets it because now they have some breathing room. They're outside the 30 and can spread that defense a little wider and make those zones open up for the passing game.
There you look at what Bobby Hebert has done. That is the 9th 1st down for Northwestern State. Northeast has 19. Hebert throwing a quick out, complete to Victor Otis, his wide receiver, number 80. Keith Sims, number 47, busts him out of bounds right at that point. A pickup of about 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5.
This is a safe little pass as Bobby Hebert comes in a half roll to the right, and he runs about a 5-yard square out. Victor Otis is right there, pick it off. He gets driven back, but he gets the benefit of the yardage he had accomplished. They're being patient. They're not trying to get it all in one big lump.
Hebert has now completed 5 of 13 passes for 42 yards. 8 minutes, 23 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Comes a blitz.
Hebert gets the pass away, however, and it's complete at the 49-yard line. Number 86, or rather 88, Barry Rubin, the tight end, making the reception. Barry Broussard had pressure on the blitz.
Bobby Hebert sets up quickly, sees the blitz coming, he unloads it, nice catch, good throw under pressure. He's a cool cookie, number 12, Bobby Hebert. That's a good catch.
There's Barry Rubin, who made the reception. Rubin, a senior from here in Monroe, Louisiana. 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10, Northwestern at their own 48. Hebert throwing to this side. Incomplete. A penalty marker goes down as the pass was intended for number 17, Randy Lyles, and Roosevelt Strotter, number 45, blasted him perhaps a bit too early. Interference against Northeast will give Northwestern the 1st down.
It's Bobby Hebert dropping to throw the quick slant-in pattern. You can say that Roosevelt Strotter goes through the man to get to the ball, but that's not so. He's not allowed to go right through his numbers like that prior to the ball being touched. He has a right to the ball, but he cannot go through the other player to get to it, so that's a bona fide pass interference call on Roosevelt Strotter.
That's the 3rd penalty on Northeast Louisiana. It is 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line of Northeast. Delaney getting it down near the 41. It was not Delaney, it was Carlton Finister. Herbert Royal, number 88, the defensive end, a sophomore, made the tackle. As Carlton Finister has now carried 6 times for 24 yards. Gain of 3, second down, 7 yards to go. Hebert trying to find some running room. Stumbles forward. They'll mark it at the 37-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2. 85, Barry Broussard, the freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana, covered him there.
Bobby Hebert really dropped the ball. The exchange from center was a little shaky. Dropped the ball and did what a good football player will do. He just picked it up and made positive yardage.
Get what you can get.
Right.
Third down, 2 yards to go for Northwestern State. Delaney very close to the first down. As he crosses the 35, he should have enough for it. It is enough for a Northwestern State first down. As you look at their coach, A.L. Williams on the sideline.
This is more his basic style of football now. He's in the pass offense stature and the counter plays, the little quick openers and quick draws. That's what he'd like to do. He can move the football with that approach.
With that carry, Delaney now has 100 yards even this afternoon on 22 carries. We're in the third quarter with Northeast leading Northwestern 17-7. The screen to Delaney. Gets a good block. Inside the 25, down to the 22.5-yard line. Ricky Sanders, number 38, had to make the tackle in the secondary.
Great call to beat the blitz. They had the blitz on again. Poole comes in. The pass is made over his shot here out to Delaney. Quick screen, good blocking pattern, wide open spaces for a good open field runner. Joe Delaney makes the most out of that. They really have the defense of the Indians loosened up now with this passing attack.
That's Delaney's first reception of the afternoon, as you see, a 12-yard gain. First and 10, Northwestern State. From just outside the 22-yard line of Northeast. The quick in route from the far sideline. Victor Otis makes the reception, and 47 Keith Sims makes the hit immediately. Again, good first down yardage as they pick up perhaps 7 yards on the play. Closer to 6. We'll call it second down and 4.
Victor Otis was spread real wide that time to the other hash mark and beyond. He had a lot of operating room. The pass was a little bit behind you, but sure-handedly he nabbed the ball.
For Otis, his third reception for 17 yards. From the 16-yard line of Northeast, Northwestern on second down and 4. Delaney has the first down and is inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. 35, Gary Hines made the tackle.
Of the 23 carries for number 44, Delaney, I bet you he's run about 21 of them on the speed sweep left and right. He's really good at that. Reads the blocking pattern and makes a positive cut and made a key first down for his team.
We have an injured player down. A Northwestern State Louisiana player is injured with 4 minutes. It is Delaney, we hear, who is hurt. 4 minutes and 58 seconds remaining. We'll be right back.
Recently, I had troubles with my most trusted employee, me. I was spending too much time getting out mailings, presentations, invoices. I wasn't pulling my weight, so I did what I had to do. I replaced me with a Xerox small copier. It makes copies right on my letterhead, and mailing labels, and even copies bills like this, and it works for a lot less than I did. They should have fired me years ago.
Right. Be more productive. Call Xerox.
You can feel us coming now, a fresh look on the scene, with a whole new style of living, light and crisp and clean.
That's why now we say the age of 7-Up is here, because we love that crisp, refreshing taste, so light and crystal clear. Moving up, looking up.
Hey, John McEnroe's turning 7-Up.
America is turning 7-Up. Reaching up, feeling up.
Sugar Ray's turning 7-Up.
America is turning 7-Up.
Each level of NCAA football has its own competitive thrills with 110 Division II and 187 Division III colleges. Join the excitement at a game in your area next weekend. In Division II, South Dakota State at Northern Colorado. Division III, Swarthmore at Franklin and Marshall.
Joe Delaney injured on the play and shaken up, as you can see, holding his right arm very gingerly. He could have injured his arm or his shoulder. We're not sure. We are getting a report from the sideline, hopefully, momentarily. But as you can see, he left the game under his own power. He is out of there. And in to replace him is Kenny Jones. Hebert down to the 6-yard line. The report we get from the sideline is that Joe Delaney has a bruised shoulder. We trust it is not serious, and I know that Northwestern State wants him back in that football game. He's gone over 100 yards today for the 9th time in his career.
He's vitally important to them, and let's see if that changes the tactics for Bobby Hebert, because at that time he just took the ball himself to make certain there was no ball exchange problem, and they've got to score here. They have a great opportunity.
2nd down, goal to go at the 6-yard line. The pass is batted down as Hebert had the rush put on him. 4 red-shirted defenders were in there and knocked the pass down as he unloaded it.
Stevie had a crossing pattern with his tight end coming under against the flow. Linebackers weren't fooled, though. They locked right on, and they covered the play, and, of course, the pass rush had knocked the ball down. They missed a big opportunity there. Let's see what they can do with this one.
I think he wanted to go to Kenny Jones out of the backfield, to whom he had faked, as you look at John David throw. Prior to that, Hebert had completed 4 straight passes. It is 3rd down and goal from the 6. Hebert on the rollout. Looking for somebody throwing back. It's intercepted in the end zone by number 31, Jody Norman. Jody Norman picking it off in the end zone to stave off a Northwestern State threat.
This is very much unlike a disciplined quarterback like number 12, Bobby Hebert. He forced his play, running to the right. He's looking back, and this is a tough throw, and he's off balance. He just throws it up for grabs. Jody Norman makes a great play, number 31. A real good intercept to stop that scoring threat.
Ricky Isaac put the pressure on, and Jody Norman came up with the interception. We'll be back in just a minute.
Introducing the 1981 Chevy Malibu Sport Sedan. A solid, sensible car with a 6-passenger interior, impressive V6 mileage, a comfortable ride, plus a little something sensible cars are not ordinarily known for. Chevrolet introduces the Malibu Sport Sedan. A 4-door with a difference. A 4-door with pizzazz.
Throughout brewing history, there have been few beers so exceptional they stand in a class by themselves. For it's a rare moment when both the finest ingredients and the skill of the brewer come together. Such a moment has been captured in Erlanger. One look, one sip, one taste will tell you this is a classic.
Come and taste the moment, Erlanger.
On ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic gold medalists and world-class figure skaters, the World Lumberjacks Championship, and a report on the Holmes Alley WBC heavyweight bout today.
17-7, as you see, and Northwestern had an opportunity to pull within 3 on this play, but Northeast's defense rose to the occasion.
And very uncharacteristically, Bobby Hebert for the first thing here. Off balance, he threw the ball back into a crowd, and it's picked up by 31 to stop a scoring threat.
There's Jody Norman, who made the interception. And this is Johnson, the ball carrier, getting out from the 20 to about the 23-yard line. We get a report that Joe Delaney of Northwestern State has now been taken to the locker room. Originally, we were told he had a bruised shoulder, but perhaps it is more serious than that, because they might be taking him there to x-ray that shoulder just to be sure that he did not suffer at least a minor separation or some other injury. Whether or not we will see him again remains in doubt. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. Northeast from their own 23. Coleman with lots of time now. He dumps it and just throws it off into the Northwestern bench. Incomplete. Getting some pressure. This program being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
He might have thrown it away.
There appeared to have been a flag on the play, but it was inadvertently dropped. The referee, George White, waving it off. And so it'll be 3rd down and 7 yards to go, Northeast at their own 23. They lead 17-7 with 3.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. And John Holman, as you see, is having a big afternoon. Holman on 3rd down. Firing to Kinney, complete for the 1st down. Kinney trying to get away and gets to the 40-yard line for a good gain after making the reception. Terry Bertrand making the defensive play for a gain of 17 yards.
Johnny Holman back, sets up deep, gets good protection, fires a rifle shot out here to Alfred Kinney, makes a leaping catch. All those little receivers have very super sure hands, and then he makes some good moves to make some extra yardage after he catches the ball.
Kinney, a sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas, only 165-pounder, picks up the first down at the 40-yard line. Number 21, Dwayne Robinson, the ball carrier, slips as he tries to turn the corner, and Dwayne is unhappy about that circumstance. Mike Duramy, number 91, covered him there. Robinson has now carried 3 times for 11 yards. Alabama leading Kentucky at halftime, 14-0.
This will be the Bears' 300th win. UCLA 17-0 over a very top-rated Ohio State team. And Nebraska finally starting to move against Florida State.
On second down, from the 43-yard line, movement on the part of Northeast. Number 90, Robbie Green, the tight end, moving a bit too early. Illegal procedure, the indication against Northeast, and a 5-yard penalty will be assessed.
There's a top-rated Pitt team. The Panthers ahead of Maryland, which is also a fine football team. Notre Dame barely passed Michigan State, now 16-15 in the fourth quarter. That's a squeaker. Penn State behind Missouri at halftime, 21-16.
Illegal procedure against Northeast. Their 4th penalty for 21 yards moves the ball back to the 37-yard line. It'll be second down and 13 yards to go. Holman completes it to his tight end, number 90, Robbie Green. And Green is hauled down by 45, David Hennigan, who's had to make a number of tackles in that Northwestern State secondary.
This is that tight end crossing underneath in what most coaches call a drag pattern. He throws it back as Robbie Green comes underneath the linebackers and breaks into the open in the opposite flat. He gets hammered there, but he made a good grab. His tight end has been significant in keeping the ball alive for the Indians.
Gain of 10 yards on the play. It'll be third down, 3 yards to go. Northeast from their own 47. Good pitch. Johnson. At the 40. At the 20. And run out of bounds at the 15-yard line. They mark it at the 17. Terry Bertrand and Darrell Toussaint finally caught up with Nathan Johnson, who had good blocking on the corner.
The pitch back, speed sweep, 43. Watch the value of a tearaway jersey coming up right here. That's why you spend that money for them. He runs right out of his grasp, got a handful of rotten nylon, that's about it, and he turns on the speed. That's really a big play for him.
Toussaint grabbing the jersey. A gain of 36 yards as Nathan gets a new one, and as you can see, he too has now gone over the 100-yard mark. First and 10 Northeast from the 17-yard line of Northwestern State. Robinson with some good hard inside running gets it down to the 13-yard line.
It's a quick opener trap play that they ran the other way, but it's the same guy, number 64, Mark Lyons, a strong guard who pops the ball, the block that springs him there. He's doing a great job, number 64, Mark Lyons, at the strong guard position for the Indians.
Northeast, take it in.
Dwayne Robinson into the game at fullback, 195-pound sophomore from Mangum, Louisiana. Johnson got a new jersey and is now back in. On second down, 6 yards to go. From the 13-yard line, now a penalty marker and a delay of game against Northeast. While they mark off the penalty, we'll take a moment to remind you that coming up this Monday night at 8 o'clock Central Time, live ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Chicago Bears. Doug Williams, the fine Tampa Bay quarterback, leading their offensive attack. And, of course, the great runner Walter Payton leading the Chicago Bear offense. That's NFL Monday Night Football here on ABC Monday night, Tampa Bay and Chicago at 8 o'clock Central Time over most of these ABC stations. Second down, 12 yards to go following the mark-off. Coleman firing over the complete to Tag Rome, who makes a great catch at the 6-yard line. And Rome may have pulled a muscle as he stretched out for that ball. He's grabbing his leg like he may have gotten a cramp. or pulled a muscle.
What a
great catch.
Great play by little tag Rome number 4. And Johnny Holman plants and fires the ball. Watch this leaping catch. Great athlete. I think he did sprain something there. He put out such an effort. Yeah, he got a cramp out of that one. He's all right there. He's running it off. What a great catch. What a key play.
He gets quite an ovation from the fans here at Northeast as he comes to the sideline. Sometimes when you overextend yourself like that, especially in this warm weather, it's very easy to get a cramp or at least a little bit of a pull. As you see, 7 receptions for 72 yards. That one a 12-yarder. First and goal for Northeast. Johnson trying to get to the outside, and he can't. Number 42, Tommy Rushing, with an excellent defensive play, brings him down for a loss.
That's one thing you don't want to have happen when you go first down inside the 10. You do not want to take a loss. And that's why most teams just pound it straight ahead, because you're not going to get a negative gain. And now they're forced back. Now they have to change their tactics. They probably have to go to the air, which they don't mind doing, by the way.
And they have done it very successfully so far.
John Holman's having a great day at quarterback for the
Clock is running with just 5 seconds remaining in the third quarter. They may not get this play off as they have second down and goal to go from the 14-yard line, and that is the end of the third quarter. NCAA college football, Northwestern State at Northeast Louisiana will continue after this commercial message and a word from our local stations.
Mr. Goodwrench, can I get an oil change, filter, and lube job in a hurry?
Sure. I'll do it while you wait.
Mr. Goodwrench knows you don't have time to waste, so he can offer while you wait service on many popular jobs. And he has the special GM tools, GM training, and genuine GM parts available to back it up.
All done? That was fast.
Well, time is money, Sam.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Where Mr. Goodwrench works.
With genuine GM parts.
I'm Mike Colbraker, State Farm Agent, Carlisle, Illinois, speaking for thousands of State Farm agents across the country. One of the many reasons people keep coming to State Farm Insurance is because we service what we sell, and we do it on a personal, one-to-one basis. Service is what State Farm is all about, and service is what State Farm agents are all about.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
What electronic weapons will be used on the battlefield of the future? A special assignment Tuesday.
This here's a Yamaha Tri-Moto. Works for real low wages, pulls like a mule, never gets tired. And when the work's all done, darned if it still don't want to go out and play.
Get your Yamaha Tri-Moto at Howard Griffin's in Monroe and Moeller's in Bastrop.
Mr. Green,
Yeah.
you need any help?
Mm-mm.
Want my Coke?
No.
Really, you can have it. Coke and a smile.
Okay.
I feel good.
Thanks.
That's the way it should be. I like to stay around the whole world. Smiling with me. Coca-Cola and life. Have a Coke and a...
Wow, thanks,
KTVE Channel 10, El Dorado, Monroe.
Well, they have a beautiful, beautiful stadium and press facility here at Northeast Louisiana, but as you can see, something new has been added this week. The folks here were nice enough to build an additional booth on the roof just for us at ABC Sports so that we could bring you this telecast this Saturday on NCAA college football. This hopefully will be a permanent fixture that they will get a lot of use out of in the years to come. Coleman passing incomplete and over the middle, intended for his tight end. A penalty marker goes down, and we may have a pass interference call again against Northwestern. David Hennigan was defending on the play, number 45, and it is interference against Northwestern State.
That's a tough call, Steve, but Holman drops back, plants, and the men are really tightly covered, but he forces the ball in there, so the defender has to go through the pass receiver, and it is a legitimate call, but that's a tough one when you're down inside. Now they have an automatic first down inside the 10.
That's the 8th penalty of the afternoon against Northwestern State for 73 yards.
They're working on their 100-yard average again.
We're just underway in the fourth quarter. 17-7, Northeast leading. They have the football. Robinson breaking it down to the 1-yard line. Beautiful, quick-hitting play. Number 81, David Garp, had to make the tackle as Robinson broke it quickly.
That was the influence and trap block that they've been executing so nicely that time against a penetrating defense that's set up perfectly, and Dwayne Robinson almost tracked it into the end zone.
Robinson has carried 5 times for 23 yards, and now a timeout on the field. Dwayne Robinson comes to the near sideline. 14 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the football game. Northeast Louisiana is threatening to score once again and already leading Northwestern State 17-7.
At Budget Rent-A-Car, you're number one.
I'm sure glad I switched to Budget. Their low rates really saved me money, and Budget's located right inside most airports, so it's just as fast and convenient.
At Budget, you're number one.
When my company told me to rent from Budget, I thought I'd have to give up the service I'm used to just to save money. But frankly, Budget, you won me over.
At Budget, you're number one.
You know, it's really gratifying to see so many guys today enjoying tobacco without lighting up. Just like me, they've gone smokeless. Now, I'm kind of partial to Skull with the wintergreen flavor. Or for straight tobacco taste, try Copenhagen. Or Mild Happy Day. Great if you're just starting out. There you go. But whichever, just a pinch between your cheek and gum is all it takes. So try going smokeless. You're going to like it.
Tomorrow, the pressure-packed National League. The Astros play the Dodgers, and the Phillies meet the Expos. Check local listings for the final regular season game in your area.
Northeast Louisiana threatening to score once again as they have second down and goal at the 1.5-yard line. Theodis Moore scores for Northeast Louisiana to put them even farther out in front here in the early moments of the fourth quarter.
Just a basic fullback slant, spin out reverse from John Holman to Theodis Moore. Good blocking pattern. He dives over the pile and gets into the end zone. They are really dominating this football game since the first 3 minutes of the contest.
They have been in control, and they have used the run and pass effectively, especially the great afternoon Holman has had throwing the football. Bubba Toops on for another extra point. It is good. And with 14 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the game, Northeast Louisiana University has now jumped out to a big lead over Northwestern State, 24-7. We'll return to Monroe, Louisiana and Malone Stadium in just a minute.
Introducing an important step ahead for 81, the new Chevy pickup with new aerodynamic styling and a new trimmer weight, but with a strong Chevy truck frame and massive girder beam suspension. A smooth-running, high-mileage 6-cylinder engine for better EPA mileage estimates than last year. The same big, roomy cab and even more payload, plus new sleek looks. From the ground up, the 81 Chevy pickups are an important step ahead. Chevy trucks, an important step ahead.
This Bud's for everyone who works, so we can play.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
The Trans-American Athletic Conference welcomes the opportunity to have 2 of its members on the NCAA Regional Series. The TAAC will have automatic qualification for the NCAA Division I Basketball Championship next March.
We just got a report that Joe Delaney, the fine running back for Northwestern State, who gained 108 yards on 23 carries, has suffered a separated shoulder and will not return to the game, obviously, today. And obviously, this situation for the remainder of the season would be in doubt, pending the seriousness of that separation.
There's no psychological impact that Steve. He has been their firecracker, their spiritual leader, and now he's not in there.
You saw Bubba Toops set to kick off, and Mark Cooper of Northwestern State set to receive, as Cooper will take it 5 yards deep, goes through his hands and out through the end line. It'll be a touchback, 1st and 10, Northwestern at their own 20. In the fourth quarter, Northwestern State will have a little bit of that swirling breeze at their back, and I'm surprised, Ben, that they have not thrown the football more.
No, I think they got a little conservative after their immediate success in that drive that under 3 minutes netted 7 points. But now they're in a position where they must play catch-up, and the clock is running against them. They've got to do something wide open, try to get a big play, and Coach A.L. Williams knows that.
They scored with just 3 minutes gone in the football game. They have not scored since. Hebert tries to dump it over the middle and is racked up in the backfield. His pass was intended for his running back, number 43, Carlton Finister. Gary Hines, number 35, with the defensive play for Northeast.
And center screen, which is tough. You need a lot of cooperation from the defense to get execution on that play, and the defense was just in there swarming, standing straight up so that Bobby Hebert really couldn't see what he was trying to do.
There's the scoring drive for Northeast, an 80-yarder once again, and they have had scoring drives of 80, 80, 65, and 83 yards. They have moved the football a long way to get their 24 points. Second down and 10 for Northwestern State. Hebert incomplete and almost intercepted. It was almost picked off by 31 Jody Norman, who intercepted Hebert's pass in the end zone to end the scoring threat.
Well, Bobby Hebert, number 12, drops back. He has plenty of time. He pumps. He's trying to find, and then he lays it up just a little too softly. It sails on him. Jody Norman's over, tips it away. It's almost picked off. But he had to lay it up a little deeper if he's going to get away with that. He has not completed a deep pass yet.
As you can see, 8 of 20 on the afternoon. Randy Lyles, the intended receiver, was open for a moment, but had to wait for the football, which also gave the defenders time to get there. On third down and 10 from the 20. This one is complete to number 80, Victor Otis, who's busted out of bounds at the 31. It should be enough for a first down for Northwestern State. Roosevelt Strutter, number 45, made the hit.
Now, this is what Bobby Hebert does well. A half roll to his left, plants, gets the shoulder around, fires a timing pass to Victor Otis on the sidelines. He's really very accurate on those sideline throws, and I would say that he'd be well advised to stick with that because it's a 10-yarder. It stops the clock.
That is Otis's 4th reception for 29 yards, and a big one on 3rd and 10. He picked up 11. First and 10 from the 31 for Northwestern State. Hebert fires again on the out route. This time it's complete to number 17, Randy Lyles. And again, Lyles has about an 11 or 12-yard gain. They mark it as a 12-yard gain. It will be another first down for Northwestern.
And now Bobby Hebert is taking what the defense invites him to do. There's a big cushion on the wide receivers. They can break that pattern off anywhere from the 10 to 12-yard marker, which is exactly what Randy Lyles does here. Well, that's a play they can execute very nicely anytime they want, as long as there's a soft cushion on the defense.
You see Lyles' statistics so far, receiving the football, 4 for 43 yards. Again, it's first and 10 from the 43-yard line. Hebert under pressure. He's sacked inside the 35. Breaking through, number 38, Ricky Sanders, sophomore linebacker from West Monroe, just across the river. They mark it at the 34.
That was a good adjustment by the Indians as they put the pressure defense on now. Shot the linebackers. They're going to try to contain Bobby Hebert, and they do it nicely, throwing for a big loss. So you can't go to the well that often with that straight drop-back pass and expect not to be pressured by blitzes.
It's a 10-yard loss back to the 34-yard line. It's second down, 20 yards to go. Hebert firing it long down the far sideline, intended for Lyles, but overthrown, and it was well covered as Northeast had 2 defenders back there. One of them, Steve Isaac, their fine senior defensive back. And look at the difference in passing yardage.
That is really something else, because we anticipated there would be a good passing game. We thought Northwestern State would have the edge with their stats going into the game with over 280 yards passing in each contest.
Bobby Hebert looking for help from the sidelines as they send, or rather signal, the plays into him.
He's anxious. He doesn't want to get a delay penalty right now.
Come on, let's have it. 13 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the football game. 24-7, Northeast over Northwestern. Hebert's pass intercepted. Jody Norman with his second interception. And Norman has a clear field ahead of him except for 2 players who knock him out of bounds. Number 54, Johnny Skinner, an offensive tackle, bumped him out of bounds. A return of 39 yards on this interception.
Bobby Hebert throws it out there. This is a good defensive play as the pass receiver slipped down. The ball was underthrown. Then we have it down the sidelines until number 54, Johnny Skinner, comes out from nowhere here. Really recovered on the play and knocks him out of bounds.
with a little help from Carlson Finister. Jody Norman, as you see, his second interception. His other was in the end zone to stave off a scoring threat.
He's just a little fellow too, Steve.
That's right. It is 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line of Northwestern. Northeast threatening to score once again. Johnson down to about the 8-yard line. Up from the secondary, number 20, Tim Poe, a junior from Lafayette, Louisiana, on Nathan Johnson.
Nathan made one cut too many that time. If he'd have gone to the north side of that goal field, he'd have been in there. He tried to in and out move once too many times.
Nathan is shaken up a little bit. As you see, he's gone over the 100-yard mark. Bobby Craighead, number 24, has come into the game at tailback to replace him. 21, Dwayne Robinson is the fullback. Craighead, the ball carrier, the 190-pounder, gets down close to the 7-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 yards to go. 70, Bud Snodgrass, a junior from Garland, Texas, and a 260-pound defensive tackle, made the play.
They're all important, but there's no way in the world that the Demons can pull this out if they allow a score here, especially a touchdown. They've really got to dig in and force a field goal attempt anyway.
They have time with 12 minutes remaining in the game, but they must get the football back. A gain of perhaps 1 yard on the play, down to the 6-yard line.
There goes Bubba.
We get a report now that Delaney has returned to the field, but without his shoulder pads on. Obviously, if his shoulder is in fact separated, he will not be available for any further action. And here comes the field goal attempt by Bubba Toops. Robin Wasson will hold and spots it at the 12.5, 13-yard line, a 23-yard attempt. It's blocked. The field goal is blocked. And the touchback will bring it out to the 20-yard line. And Northwestern staves off a scoring threat. We'll have the football back with 11:22 remaining in the football game.
Muhammad Ali, the October issue of Inside Sports really zeroes in on football, basketball, and hockey.
The only zeros I care about are those in my bank account.
40 pages on basketball and hockey. Inside Sports also tells you why Monday Night Football is tougher on announcers than players. And guess who's on the cover?
You mean I finally made it?
I hate to tell you this, Ali, but it's Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, and Frank Gifford.
How Cosell? Who's he?
You just read October Inside Sports at your newsstand now.
Wait till you see how good you can be with Minolta XG1.
Ever since Tony got a Minolta XG1, he thinks he's a great photographer.
Great.
Okay.
Depend on the automatic Minolta XG1 to give you clear, sharp pictures. It does the work. You take the credit.
Ever since Tony got a Minolta XG1, he is a great photographer.
For a limited time, get an XG1 and get a $25 rebate from Minolta. See your dealer now for details.
Baseball's bet, the American and National League Championship Series, beginning Tuesday on ABC.
Bubba Toops was going for a school record of consecutive field goals on this one, but 77, Edward Orgeron, a freshman, gets that big hand up and blocks the field goal attempt. There is Joe Delaney on the sideline. As you see, his right arm in a sling with a separated shoulder. And Northwestern State has a new quarterback, Eric Barkley, in the ball game. Barkley completes the pass to Kenny Jones. And Jones is run out of bounds on the far sideline by Jody Norman, who has the 2 interceptions at the 28-yard line. A gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
Eric Barkley, number 11, has the confidence of Coach Williams. He told us yesterday that he planned to play both of his quarterbacks with Eric Barkley, number 11, be pretty much a little better pure passer, and that's why he's in the football game right now. Last week, Barkley was 4 of 9 for 90 yards, so he can throw the ball.
On 2nd down and 2 from the 28-yard line, Barkley giving out to the tailback, out of the backfield, number 40, Kenny Jones breaking through into the secondary, and up to the 45, perhaps the 46-yard line, before Steve Isaac, number 23, makes the tackle in the Northeast secondary.
Barkley's going to hand off on the sprint-out draw play to Kenny Jones. He finds daylight. He runs back against the grain, which is really an efficient way to run the sprint-out draw. As you go back against the grain after the linebackers have overrun the play, and so Kenny Jones makes a good gain.
Kenny Jones replacing Delaney in the backfield. His first carry nets 17 yards. on 1st and 10 from the 45. Barkley completes it on the far sideline to Lyles, who gets away and finally is run out of bounds in Northeast territory at the 38-yard line of Northeast Louisiana.
Barkley taking advantage of that sideline route, which has been so good for the Demons. Plants and throws a real hummer out there to Randy Lyles, their #1 pass catcher, and he spins out here. Nice move to stay in bounds and make some additional yardage. Another 10 on that move by Randy Lyles.
That is his 5th reception, as you see, for 60 yards. A gain of 17 yards as Northwestern State is coming back 1st and 10 at the Northeast 38. Jones again, looking for running room, perhaps a yard to the 37-yard line. Steve Isaac up from the cornerback position, and Stanford McNair, number 77, combined for the tackle.
We're going to do it to you right now.
10 minutes, 25 seconds remaining in the football game. Northeast leads Northwestern 24-7. As you look at Barkley and his 1980 stats.
Hasn't played nearly as much as Bobby Hebert, but as I say, Coach Williams really believes in this young man.
Barkley, a 195-pound junior from Shreveport. On 2nd down and 9, under pressure. Wrapped up back at the 40-yard line of Northwestern. Pat Murphy, number 41, a sophomore linebacker from Monroe, Louisiana, with a big defensive play.
Just what John David Crow said he was going to have to do. Penetration outside, break down the containment. As Eric Barkley comes back, he has nowhere to go because of the outside, both sides. Left end far across, both tackles far across, linebackers containing from the outside. Really a great deal of pressure. He had nowhere to go, no place to dump the football. Big defensive play by a pressure defense from the Indians. Pat Murphy.
The sophomore linebacker coming up with a big loss. It is 3rd down, 30 yards to go as they mark it at the 43-yard line of Northwestern, and Barkley drops straight back, firing it over the middle. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver and intercepted. Intended for number 88, Barry Rubin, the tight end, and Jody Norman picks up number 3.
Jody Norman, he's all around that football. Eric Barkley goes back. He has time this time. He sets up. He does have a man open in the left seam. The ball is thrown out there, and it's tipped off the receiver right here. He might have had this catch. He tipped it. Jody Norman, number 31, Johnny on the spot. Is he ever alert? He's around the ball. He flings his body in there, comes up with his 3rd of the day. Great job by Jody Norman.
Norman, a junior from Fort Worth, Texas, as Northeast has the football back. 1st and 10 at their own 37-yard line, leading 24-7. Johnson turning the corner and getting to about the 43-yard line. Number 56, Mike Camden, who's made a lot of tackles for that Northwestern defense, was there.
John Holman still a quarterback for the Indians. Tosses back to 43. Nathan Johnson on that toss sweep. Speed, all the linemen just reaching to the outside. He finds a crack of daylight and runs with that power that he has in those legs. A very strong runner.
A gain of 6 yards on the play to the 42-yard line. It's 2nd down and 4. Holman completes it at the 38-yard line. Renfro going high over the defender to haul it in. Mitch Renfro at the 39-yard line of Northwestern State.
I think that the young football players watching this can really appreciate the body position as Mitch Renfro turns his numbers back to the passer on the curl-in pattern, jumps up, controls the area. He's really in good position there so that the defender can't even knock the ball away from him. Perfectly thrown pass to Mitch Renfro.
Renfro out of the game now after that gain of 18 yards and a 1st down at the 39 of Northwestern. Johnson, the ball carrier, gets perhaps a yard as they run the inside handoff, countering back to the right side. Defense very well by Northwestern State. Perhaps a gain of 1 down to the 38-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 9 yards to go. 81, David Graff with the defensive tackle.
After being trapped all day long, they finally shut that one off. I think the linebackers are staying at home when you see that action across from them.
On 2nd and 9. Holman on the down and out, completes it close to 1st down yardage to Alfred Kinney. Darrell Toussaint, number 21, and number 48, Sonny Lewis were there, but Kenny appears to have picked up another 1st down.
Johnny Holman's really cool here. The throwing lane problem, but then he reloads and pulls the trigger again, and Alfred Kinney's right there. That really was coolness under fire by John Holman, the quarterback for the Indians.
Kinney, the sophomore from Fort Worth. Northeast now with 25 1st downs. Coleman dumping it off on a screen to Johnson. Johnson trying to fight through the blockers and is wrapped up by number 95, Greg Williams, a freshman linebacker from Jonesboro. Incidentally, Jody Norman of the Northeast defense, who has the 3 interceptions, has tied the school record for interceptions by one player in one game with that third one.
That's a rare feat. You know, some guys go their whole career and don't get 3, and especially 3 in one season is a real productive day.
Second down, 9 yards to go. Bowman completes another one inside the 10-yard line, and down near the 5-yard line is Bobby Lewis.
John Holman, what a day he's having. He's getting good protection. He sets up, he fires that ball. This is a tough ball to throw. A slant in, speed break to the inside as Bobby Lewis, number 18, takes it. That's very accurate forward passing. But credit the offensive line. They're giving John Holman a great deal of time to deliver that ball.
Bobby Lewis coming out as they're shuttling the wide receivers in. A gain of 21 yards. First and goal from the 7-yard line. Coleman rolling out, pitches it into the end zone. Renfro cannot hang on. It's incomplete. Renfro had good position again. Terry Bertrand was covering on the play, number 46, but a penalty marker has been thrown in the end zone.
It's that Sun Field again as John Holman pumps. Can't get open. Now he lays it up. You see that Renfro's looking right back into that setting sun in the western sky, but there was a penalty in the end zone away from that play. I think they're trying to hold up the tight end.
Interference is the indication against Northwestern State. Half the distance to the goal. Will move it down to the 3.5-yard line, where it will be first and goal from that point.
Still a bunch of penalties against the Demons, Steve. That's really a toughie. Now they've had 9 for 77 yards, and they all hurt, but especially when you get one thrown in the end zone.
6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the game. Northeast is leading 24-7 and threatening to score once again. First and goal. Bobby Craighead fighting for yardage, breaks the tackle and gets down to the 1. Great second effort by Craighead as it appeared that he was stopped at the line of scrimmage. Freeman Thomas, number 75, the freshman nose guard, hit him.
Just a power slant off tackle behind the lead block, and Craighead, there's no daylight there, and he bounces off to the inside, which is a dangerous maneuver close to the goal line. He could be thrown for a loss there, but he retains his balance and drives sideways down to the 1-yard line. That's great effort by Bobby Craighead.
Give credit also to David Hennigan, number 45, who's been playing outstanding football for Northwestern State. Craighead, no, it's Robinson, touchdown, Northeast. Robinson, the ball carrier, scores from 1 yard out, and Northeast Louisiana has jumped out to a 30-7 lead.
Here's Dwayne Robinson, number 21, just on a lead dive play, power play inside over the guards. He's gone in there behind Mark Lyons, who's been the stalwart up front blocking for the Indians all day long.
Dwayne Robinson, the sophomore, 195-pounder, and now Bubba Toops, number 3, is on to attempt the extra point out of Robin Wasson-Cole. It's good. That makes it 31-7. Northeast over Northwestern State with 5:42 remaining in the football game. We'll return in a minute.
At one time, imported oil was no problem to America. Today, we import over 40% of our oil. If supplies are ever cut off again, it could affect your driving, your heating, your job. Texaco believes conservation must be increased, alternate energy sources developed, exploration and production stepped up, because none of us want to be caught over a barrel. At Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
May I speak to Mr. Little?
Yes, he's expecting your call. I know where to reach him.
With the ComKey system, your secretary can make conference calls, so even when you're out of the office, you won't miss important calls.
Hi, the merger's on. From now on, we're Ford and Little. Gee, I kind of thought Little and Ford. Well, you know, F comes before L.
The ComKey system by Western Electric. It saves you time and money.
Tall guys first, little guys second.
Only from the Bell system.
On ABC's Wide World of Sports, Olympic gold medalists and world-class figure skaters, the World Lumberjacks Championships, and a report on the Holmes Alley WBC heavyweight bout today.
Steve Zabriskie along with Ben Martin as Northeast may have put the game out of reach on this play as Dwayne Robinson takes it in from 1 yard out. That made it 31-7. And somewhat of a surprising score, Ben.
It really is. The way the game started with a fast pace by the Demons, and they scored with 3 minutes gone in the first period. But since that time, the Indians have really asserted themselves. They're playing really heads-up, concentrating, dedicated football.
Bubba Toops puts it 5 yards deep. Mark Cooper takes it there. Will not run it out. It'll be a touchback once again. 1st and 10. Northwestern stayed at their own 20. And they will have 5 minutes and 42 seconds to try and do something about it. And that's not much time when you're down 31-7.
Certainly isn't. Normally, when you're down 4 touchdowns in the 4th period, it's
1st and 10. Northwestern State operating from their own 20-yard line. Barkley throwing under pressure, gets it away, incomplete, intended for Lyles. Threw the ball a little bit behind him, but had to get it away as the protection broke down. As you look at the sideline of Northwestern State University. And here's the scoring drive by Northeast. That is their shortest scoring drive of the afternoon. They have eaten up the clock and a lot of yardage. And
sure
putting
have.
those points in.
Very consistent to go that far. That means that they're sticking with their game plan. And when your quarterback, John Holman, number 14 for the Indians, is having such a great day, and this is very Barkley, who's the alternate quarterback.
Barkley on 2nd and 10 throws it over the middle. It's complete to number 87, James Walker, freshman tight end. And Walker is putting it on. Walker is inside the 30-yard line of Northeast and will not be caught. Walker all the way for a touchdown for Northwestern State. James Walker shocks the Northeast crowd. A 230-pound freshman tight end from Stuttgart, Arkansas, coming into the game and ripping off an 80-yard touchdown pass and run.
Eric Barkley takes the ball back, and this is that dump over the middle to beat the blitzing linebackers. And he's right there. 87 gets the ball. Now, his size is what pays off here. Those defensive backs for the Indians are small. They bounce right off of him. He is a powerful man, and he has speed. Is he surprised and delighted as he gets into the end zone to help his team? It's not all over yet. Big play.
It didn't take him long to come back. It is now 31-13 with the extra point to come. And James Walker and Eric Barkley combined to score very, very quickly. The extra point attempt by Quickle is good. And it is 31-14 with 5:24 remaining in the game.
Beat the blitz that time, which was the key to it. They're getting on the rhythm of that blitz now, and when you do that, it's a gimme. If you don't guess right, though, you're going to have to eat that football.
Walker really made a great run, however, as 3 defenders had a shot at him, and he just ran over all of them.
They bounced off him. Walker is really delighted. Here's Barkley back, number 11 in the pocket. The inside blitz is coming. He jumps up and delivers the ball, a delay to his tight end coming across the middle. Walker, number 87. Watch these little backs bounce right off his big size. Spins, takes another shot. And now he's going to get into overdrive. He accelerates for a big kid. He's really gone. What a thrill, this young man, a freshman, to score a touchdown on a long run like that.
An 80-yard play has made it 31-14 with 5:24 remaining. That's the first catch in a Northwestern State uniform for this young Walker, who transferred to Northwestern State from the University of Arkansas. And as you can see, it took them only 18 seconds. Northeast now looking for the onside kick, as they have only one deep receiver in Nathan Johnson. And Leo Clement is set to kick off. It is an onside kick, fielded cleanly and fell on. And up there, number 31, Jody Norman, who has 3 interceptions. Norman, with the good hands, doing it all, picks it up at the 48-yard line, where Northeast will have a 1st and 10.
This is the wrong guy to kick it to. They had overloaded to the left of the screen, but they kicked it right to Jody Norman, the surest-handed defender they have. And then when you're in the expect an onside kick formation like that, you try to put your most sure-handed guys where they're bound to kick it, and the right-footed kicker's going to kick it over that way. And there's Jody Norman. What a day he's having.
Norman did the right thing, too. He smothered that football. A little foul up on the center exchange as Holman has to fall on the football, and it is then fallen on himself by some white shirts.
You don't want to play giveaway now, Steve.
No. The loss of perhaps a yard on the play will make it 2nd down and 11, back at the 47-yard line.
Johnson getting to the outside and picking up 3 or 4 yards as he moves into Northwestern State territory at the 48-yard line. Larry Robinson, number 24, number 46, Terry Bertrand, ran him out of bounds.
Can't get too conservative now. They've got to maintain possession of that football.
Here now are the Chevrolet most valuable players for our game this afternoon. John Holman, number 14 for Northeast Louisiana, the Chevrolet most valuable player for Northeast in this game this afternoon. What a remarkable performance he has turned in. We'll give you his stats in a moment. The handoff to Robinson, number 21, and Robinson is going nowhere. As we were saying, John Holman, the Chevrolet most valuable player. In his name, a $1,000 scholarship will be awarded by Chevrolet to Northeast Louisiana University as the most valuable player for them in this football game. Holman, 22 of 34 for 278 yards and 2 touchdowns this afternoon.
That's a great day for a young man, but it was anticipated. He's been very steady. He's been throwing about 30, 31 passes a game, and he completed a bunch of them today.
Bill Weimer, who's been averaging 40 yards a kick, is in. Sonny Lewis calls for the fair catch and takes it deep in his own territory at about the 12.5-yard line. And so Northwestern gets the ball back, but they are a long way from the goal line once again with 3:58 remaining in the game, a punt of 38 yards.
Yeah, the other most valuable player, of course, for Northwestern State, Joe Delaney, number 44. Unfortunately, he was injured and had to leave the game in the third quarter, but at that time he had 23 carries, 108 yards, and no doubt that the Demons miss him, the most valuable player, Chevrolets, for Northwestern State.
Barkley on 1st and 10 throws it over the middle and incomplete, intended for number 87, James Walker, with whom he combined for that electrifying 80-yard touchdown play on their previous possession. The incompletion stops the clock with 3:53 remaining. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Northwestern operating from their own 13. Also to Northwestern State University, a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund from Chevrolet's Motor Division for Joe Delaney and the job he did this afternoon as Northwestern State's most valuable player. On 2nd and 10, Barkley completes it on the out route to Jerry Wheeler, number 5, a freshman wide receiver from West Monroe, Louisiana, and Jody Norman, number 31, is there defending for Northeast. It is enough for a 1st down for Northwestern State, however, as the clock stops with 3:46 remaining.
This is about the only open area, and Eric Barkley goes right to it with Jerry Wheeler on the sideline route, and then he's trying to get the 1st down, and he gets it.
1st and 10 from the 26. Setting up the screen to the far sideline, incomplete, intended for Jones, who had it go off his hands and out of bounds. 3 minutes, 30 seconds exactly remaining in the game. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Kenneth Poole, number 83, putting the pressure on.
Northeast Louisiana can afford to drop back now in a semi-prevent type defense, the old nickel defense, and they did that time, and they even had the outside rushers looking for the screen, and that's why that play did not work.
On 2nd and 10, Northwestern from their own 26. Barkley to put it up again, evading the pressure, gets it off and just throws it over the head of his intended receiver, Jerry Wheeler. Again, Kenneth Poole, number 83, defending. As you look at A.L. Williams, the head coach of Northwestern State.
He's a little disappointed because he thought his team would perform well today and score a lot more points than they did, but they just didn't put it up early enough, and they ran into a hot hand in the Indians' John Holman.
Eric Barkley has now completed 4 of 9 for 119 yards, and he wants to throw another one. This one is complete. And Walker is not going to go down. James Walker again hit by 3 or 4 guys before he'll finally go down.
Let's take a look at this one, number 11, Eric Barkley on a rollout to the right. He's looking for James Walker, his big guy that was a touchdown target before. Nice throw, nice catch. Watch a couple of hits there. That's a good catch for a big hit. He gets hit here and he bounces off, and now he's going to get hit again. He's still on his feet. Now he really takes his shot right there.
Gary Hines hitting James Walker. On 4th down, they're going for it. A penalty marker goes down as the pass is incomplete, intended for Jerry Wheeler. as on 4th and 5, Northwestern had no choice but to go for it, but there was a penalty marker thrown, and we'll wait for George White, the referee, to signal the infraction. The illegal motion against Northwestern, and it is nullified, obviously, because it was 4th down. Northeast will take over on downs with 2:38 remaining, and we receive word that the New York Yankees have clinched the American League East, winning 5-2 on Reggie Jackson's home run. They've won a lot of games on Reggie Jackson's home run.
Reggie, the October man.
There you see the final as they beat Detroit today to wrap up the American League Eastern Division Championship and move in to the playoffs, which you will see beginning this coming week here on ABC. On 1st and 10, into the game, number 25, Elvin Spears, the ball carrier. We have a new quarterback as well, number 13, Robin Wasson. Mike Camden, number 56, makes the tackle for Northwestern. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the game, and we have some people we'd like to thank. Of course, Northeast coach John David Crow and his staff, Northwestern State coach A.L. Williams and his staff, and of course the sports information directors, Bob Anderson and the staff at Northeast, and Steve Rowe and the staff at Northwestern State. On 2nd down, Bobby Craighead, the ball carrier. And Craighead gets short yardage. Clarence Mitchell, number 62, in on the stop for the Northwestern defense. In addition to those folks, we want to thank our spotter, Neil Hurley, our statistician and researcher, John Butera, our research assistants, Lynn Zabriskie and Gloria Hurley, and our booth assistant, Elliot Cowan. One minute, 45 seconds remaining in the game. 3rd down, 4 yards to go. Wasson throwing a long one, and it's complete to Renfro for a touchdown. Mitch Renfro streaking down the near sideline, kicks it off with 1:38 to go in the game. Northeast has scored again.
That's a little tough. I think they only wanted to get the 1st down and drive the Lincoln over the touchdown. As Mitch Renfro broke off the short pattern, he saw an opening deep. Robin Wasson plants, throws, laces up, perfectly thrown ball right into the hands of a super pass catcher, number 26, Mitch Renfro. Oh, they have some great little pass catchers.
They really do. Bubba Toops on to attempt another extra point. It's good again. And it is now 38-14. Northeast Louisiana upsetting Northwestern 38-14. We'll be back.
Introducing the new 1981 Monte Carlo. Virtually every inch reshaped, every line resculpted with economical V6 power. A new Monte Carlo. And you'll choose it because you're proud of who you are. You and Monte Carlo. A matter of personal pride. 1981 Monte Carlo from Chevrolet.
In business, there are word people, counties, options, marketing position, and numbers people.
49, 17.65.
And both had their own machines. Then Xerox came out with a different machine. One that not only processes words, but also computes, does statistics, and otherwise processes numbers. The Xerox 860 Information Processing System. It helps word people and numbers people process information.
Well, I think it's terrific.
I give it a 10.
Here's the play once again, a 26-yarder.
Robin Wasson back, finds Mitch Renfro in the end zone, perfectly thrown pass. Great completion for yet another touchdown for the Indians.
38-14. I'm telling you, A.L. Williams is going to have nightmares about coming to this place because 2 years ago they came here and were murdered. Short kick taken by Rushing, number 42. And Rushing makes a pretty good run out of it, gets it up past the 20 near the 25-yard line. 85, Barry Broussard in on the tackle. A reminder that coming up after the game, we'll bring you up to date on all the scores from around the country, including the top 10 schools and everything that's happening in college football today with the Prudential College Scoreboard. Stay tuned over most of the ABC stations immediately following the game for the Prudential College Scoreboard. 1 minute, 31 seconds remaining in the game. Barkley throwing it over the middle and complete to James Walker, the big 230-pound freshman who gets it to the 38-yard line. Number 81, Bill Shuley, one of the defenders there to bring him down, and it takes more than one, we have learned, to stop this big young freshman.
He's a biggie, and he's going to see a lot of football action. Someone cleared out for him. He delayed and bumped him over the middle. He was wide open, and Eric Barkley hit him.
Incomplete and out of bounds, intended for number 80, Victor Otis, and it'll be second down and 10. The executive producer, as always, of NCAA college football is Roone Arledge, and coverage of today's game was produced by Eleanor Rieger, directed by Norm Samet, our technical director, Bob Derryberry, our associate director, Sandy Bloom, our technical manager, Ken Kepka, and our unit manager, Rudy Green. Little premature movement, a penalty marker is down, and perhaps Northwestern is guilty of illegal procedure, which appeared to be the preliminary indication. That is the case, and now the 5-yard mark-off against the Demons with 1 minute and 13 seconds remaining in the game. That is their 10th penalty for 82 yards. As you look at the Northeast scoring drive, only 3 plays, 31 yards, and 1 minute exactly. The last 26 coming on the pass from Wasson to Renfro. Second down and 15 yards to go for Northwestern State from their own 32. Barkley firing it long. On the near sideline, it is intercepted. Picked off by number 16, Kenny Glasper, a junior from Hammond, Louisiana, down at his own 25-yard line.
Well, they have to go upstairs, and they have to go deep, and everybody knows it. Number 11, Eric Barkley, back. He plants and heaves a bomb downfield. He's got a man there, but the defender steps under very nicely. Looks like almost a simultaneous catch, but the official right on the job says it's another interception for the Indians. Kenny Glasper.
165-pound junior on 1st and 10. Number 25, Elvin Spears, sophomore from here in Monroe, carries the football once again. And Spears punches it out to the 31-yard line before number 98, Chris Gaucher, makes the tackle. The clock running with 43 seconds remaining in the game. Northwestern making no attempt to stop it. Second down, 4 yards to go. Again, Spears out of the tailback picks up maybe 1 as he gets near the 34. Mike Camden, number 56, again making the stop for the Northwestern State defense.
They don't even have to break the huddle this time, Steve. It's all over.
That's right. 22 seconds now remaining in the football game. There you see the clock running with 15 seconds remaining. And I doubt that Northeast will come out of the huddle. A reminder now to stay tuned for the Prudential College scoreboard following over most of these ABC stations. As time runs out on the field and a happy home crowd at Northeast exhorts, travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what Friendly Skies are all about.
Goodyear technology brings you an all-season steel-belted radial for the 80s. Today, you need a tire that gives you fuel economy and all-season performance, wet, dry traction, and long tread life, hydroplaning resistance, and dry road stability. Arriva. Even its footprint tells you it's different. Only from Goodyear. Goodyear. Quality and innovation.
Michelob Light for the winning team, okay?
You guys would do that for us?
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light, compare the taste.
Steve Zabriskie along with Ben Martin back at Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, where Northeast's Indians have defeated Northwestern State 38-14. A reminder to stay tuned for the Prudential College scoreboard. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what Friendly Skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Saturday, it's the stars of the Love Boat and their all-star passengers on an all-new all-star Family Feud special. And on the Love Boat,
I get excited just being around you, Jonesy.
an astronomer falls in love with a heavenly body.
John David Crow from Hiawatha High School.
Well, Brewer, I don't think they sell dog food pizzas here in Johnny's.
A crow pizza would be more to my taste.
Billy, have you seen these 60-ounce pitchers with the NLU logo on them?
That's funny. This picture has a Tech logo on it.
And for every pitcher and tumbler bought, Johnny will donate to one of our schools.
After November the 22nd, John David, you're going to need donations.
Come on over here, Billy, and we'll see about that.
Bow season is open, and the Village Sports is the bow hunters' headquarters, carrying a complete line of bows and equipment by PSC, Jennings, and Bear. For concealment and safety, the Village Sports has a complete line of tree stands, extension, and climbing. And with gun season just around the corner, you'll be right on target with a new rifle or shotgun. Remember, the Village Sports has layaway, financing, Visa, and Master Charge, all at 2601 Ferran in Monroe.
Did you pay too much on your AP&L summer electric bills? You probably did if your home is not properly insulated. Because while everybody knows that weatherization steps stop heat loss during the cold winter months, these same measures also make a difference in your getting the most from your air conditioning. So start weatherizing now by insulating your floors, ceilings, and walls, adding storm windows and storm doors, and caulking and weather stripping to make your home more energy efficient. Call your AP&L office today for more energy ideas that will save you money this winter and next summer.
KTVE Channel 10, El Dorado, Monroe.
The Prudential College Scoreboard is brought to you by Prudential Insurance. For life, health, auto, or home insurance, when you think about your financial security, see a Prudential agent. Get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. Steve Zabriskie along with Ben Martin back at Malone Stadium in Monroe, Louisiana, and we certainly hope you've enjoyed this game in which Northeastern's Indians really upset Northwestern Louisiana 38-14. And it was a little bit different game than we had anticipated, Ben.
Yes, from the standpoint that the Indians, after the first 3 minutes, really asserted themselves and took control of the game. They passed for over 300 yards, and that's over 120 yards more than their per-game average up to this point. I think John Holman was the difference in the football game. He really executed exceptionally well. His timing was good. His protection was excellent. His team was well prepared, and they really wanted this game. On the other hand, the other team just came out in Northwestern State, and they established a rapid pace, but they were unable to sustain it, even though Joe Delaney was great in the first half of the football game.
We have Northeast head coach John David Crow on the field with a microphone for an interview now in the post game. And Coach, if you can hear me, I want to congratulate you first of all on another big win. It seems that Northwestern may not want to come back here after the last couple of times they've been here. You've got to be very pleased, though, with the way your offense played this afternoon.
Well, Coach, we were very proud. We're very proud of our whole football team and our student body and our band. And it's just a great feeling to be part of such a good program down here in Monroe and NLU.